If you've ever stayed up for another walk-off win, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and go Cubs. That is awesome. We're back for another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. Today is going to be Thursday. We do have some more earnings reports later today. We started with McDonald's this morning. Markets are about flat, but holding on to green, and Apple is less than 20 cents from a new all-time high. We'll see how it goes here. We'll see how these earnings keep coming out. Trump is celebrating records. Burry is screaming bubble. Can't wait to hear from you folks which one it is. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Thursday edition for May 7th, 2026, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. I hope that you all had a wonderful rest of your hump day. I hope you closed out Wednesday strong. We're back for another day here on Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. We've already got some stuff to go over. Earnings from last night, earnings from this morning, and then we're going to have some movers to trade here today. Can't wait to have another fun day here with the market. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces as well. And always, Richard Judge is first here today. Good morning, Judge. Keep that positivity coming. We need as much of it as we can get. Peter, good morning. How's the snow doing in Denver or in the Colorado area? Is it going away? Has there been more? It's May. What's going on there? Producer, good morning. Thanks for all that you do. Derek, hey, let's start the stream off with some positivity, Derek. Let's go. LFG. Derek says, good morning. PGY is making it look even better. PGY is Pagaya. We've traded that as a mover before. I know that it's a FinTwit favorite, and some of our group holding it here. I think there were some others in happy hour too that also had Pagaya. That is reporting earnings and trading up here today. Derek, that is a hell of a way to start a Thursday. Let's go, brother. Good stuff. Zach McCracken, good morning. Iran is expected to give its answer regarding the truce today. Keep that in mind while trading. Good heads up there. I would expect more than just a single headline today. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a couple before the New York session ends. Just a hunch. Cab Monkey, good morning. Welcome back. Janie, it's good to see you as always. Welcome back. Crispy Biscuit, good morning. Welcome back. Zach goes on to say the eBay buyout by GameStop was a stunt. eBay closed Ryan Cohn's account. Well, that's an interesting take. I've got another one I'm going to share with you here in a little bit after the news segment, but that story not over yet, it seems. Rather amusing. And actually, the account suspension, right before that, he posted several, this is Ryan Cohen, posted several of his own personal items for sale on eBay. He had a PSA 10 Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card. I was like, oh my, I would actually like to have that. That's something else, but that's neither here nor there. We'll see how that story shakes out. It's fun. It is definitely fun. Francis, good morning. Welcome back. Azrar, good morning. Welcome back. Corey, it's great to see you as always. Welcome back. Yes, that girl. Likewise. Good morning. Welcome back. Astro Kev, good morning. Welcome back. Solitary Soldier, good morning. Whis, good morning. As Richard Judge is saying, hit that like. It helps us exploit that algorithm and get more people into our awesome trading community. Y'all can help with that. Marionette, good morning. Welcome back. Lion Atlas is locked in and ready to go. Let's go, team. Let's print some money. Lion, I love the energy here today. Chuck, good morning. It's great to see you as always. Welcome back. EKS, good morning. Welcome back. Wonder if Tim Melvin has a change in his view from the miners, specifically basic material miners, iron ore, copper, and silver. EKS, we can ask him. I don't know off the top of my head. If you think that that's pressing and I need to email him today, I would be happy to do that. Let me know. But if you think we can wait till next Wednesday or maybe even Tuesday night, because I'm going to be doing a Tuesday night presentation with him, I will definitely ask him. But Lion says no, Tim likes banks. LOL. That's true. Tim's actually been hot recently, though. 3 takeovers in like the past month on positions he's recommended. He has just been absolutely in fuego. Bernhard, good morning. Welcome back. Just passing through. Good morning. Welcome back. Cam, good morning. Welcome back. Boy, everything just jumped on me there. HK Matt, good to see you. Welcome back. Barb, good morning. Welcome back. Durkus, good morning. Who am I missing? World for Everyone, good morning. Robot to Trade, good morning. Tyler, good morning. Bath, good morning. I hope today is as great as yesterday. That is, we're going to do everything we can to make it the case. Yesterday was great. A lot of the stuff that we've been talking about and holding ended up working yesterday. So that's always cool for our group. Tyler says, how about them Sabres and the Knicks? Yeah, both those games pretty handily won there by both those teams. A good night for New York with those sports. Von Rivera, good morning. Who else am I missing? Knights Lance, good morning. Welcome back. CJ, good morning. Welcome back. I had the Canadians. They're a tough team, but last night, not their night. Kelly, good morning. Welcome back. It's great to see you. Cam, good morning. Welcome back. Linda, good morning. Welcome back. Kelly, you never look tired. That's amazing. I'm up at 4:00 every day, and I immediately start my day with drinking some coffee. So maybe that's why. Catch me at 8 or 9 p.m. and I'm like, I want to go to sleep. That's just how it goes. Susan, good morning. Welcome. Hopefully you enjoy yourself. MSAR, good morning. Welcome back. And B Money, good morning. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get started with our stock market today. All right, green across the screen here today, at least slightly in the pre-market. We'll see how that changes here as we get closer to the open. S&P futures up 0.1% here, 0.10. Dow futures up 0.15%, and the NASDAQ 0.02%. So basically flat there on the NASDAQ. Let's take a look at some cues from the last session, as well as some stocks to focus on here today. Communication services, information technology, and industrials led the S&P 500's broad gains on Wednesday, though energy and utility shares retreated. U.S. stock futures rose on Thursday after Wednesday's record rally. This followed President Trump's celebration of record stock market gains. And again, we've put in a new all-time high. Trump said that strong job growth and rising retirement accounts reflected continued economic momentum. He posted on Truth Social, quote, stock market hit an all-time high today. Jobs and 401ks are booming, end quote. Speaking to reporters about Iran at the White House, Trump said, quote, they want to make a deal. We've had very good talks over the last 24 hours, and it's very possible that we'll make a deal, end quote. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.33%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.85%. The CME Group's Fed Watch Tool projections show that the markets are pricing in a 94.1% likelihood of the Federal Reserve leaving the current interest rates unchanged during the June meeting. Now, we've got several stocks in focus here for you today, and the first one is going to be Zillow Group. The ticker on this one is Z. It fell 5.71% in the pre-market today, despite reporting upbeat first quarter results after Wednesday's closing bell. Zillow reported Q1 adjusted EPS of 53 cents. That beat the 46-cent estimate. Sales came in at $708 million, which beat the estimate of $705.259 million. Zillow Group sees Q2 sales of $750 to $765 million. That was versus $760.9 million estimate, so it's pretty much right in line there. The second stock on our list is picked just for Forever 21 Bitcoiner, Burry the Goat. This one's for you. Beyond Meat is our next stock. The ticker is BYND. It plunged 11% after it reported inline loss for the first quarter and guided second quarter revenue below the estimate. Beyond Meat's Q1 adjusted EPS of a 10-cent loss was in line. Sales of $58.2 million beat the estimate of $50.07 million. Beyond Meat sees Q2 sales of $60 to $65 million. That was versus an estimate of $66.97 million. So they actually guided down. Looks like fake meat not as desirable in this next quarter. Next stock on our list is going to be Whirlpool, and the ticker is WHR. WHR slipped 16.5% as it missed its first quarter earnings expectations. Its Q1 adjusted EPS of a 56-cent loss missed the 40-cent gain estimate. Big miss there. Sales of $3.273 billion missed the estimate of $3.445 billion. Whirlpool also lowered fiscal year 2026 adjusted EPS guidance of from 7 to 3 to 350. That was versus an estimate of 511. They also lowered fiscal year 26 sales guidance from 15.3 billion to 15.6 billion to a new range of 15 to 15.28 billion. So no bueno there for Whirlpool. The next stock on our list is going to be Core Scientific, and this is Core's. And this is notable because CoreWeave actually reports later today. Those companies are intertwined. Nonetheless, though, Core's CORZ declined 6.25% after missing its first quarter EPS estimates. Core Scientific's Q1 adjusted EPS of a 10-cent loss missed the 7-cent loss estimate, and sales of $115.24 million beat the estimate of $111.254 million. The last stock on our list here is going to be Fortinet, and the ticker on this one is FTNT. It gained 12.76% after the company reported first quarter revenue of $1.85 billion, which beat the consensus of $1.73 billion, and adjusted earnings of 82 cents per share came in, beating the analyst estimate of 62 cents per share. All right, let's take a look at the SPY chart. Let's see where we are. We are still in breakout mode. Now, in the pre-market here today, we actually did trade up a little very early in the morning. I guess you could consider that the overnight session if you wish. We put a high of 736.13 in here earlier this morning. We backed off a little bit here to 735.21. But regardless, we are set to open up at a new all-time high here. The all-time high set yesterday was 734.59. So anywhere here in a 735 handle is going to be a new all-time high for the market. We'll see if we continue to push up or if we end up pulling back here. As far as some of these spots, I really think 710 is going to be the big spot. We actually now have the 20-day moving average pushing up to give us some support down there at 710. We'll see if we trade back down to the breakout level as well. But key level here, definitely 710. I would also probably say that this 725 area might offer some support if we do trade back down there. I know that's 10 points away from where we're at now. But when we started to move away from the breakout trend line, we had this one impulse candle. Actually kind of looked like a topping candle the day that it was put in. We pulled back the next day, very, very minor. And then the following day, we traded back up. Now we moved through it here. So to me, sure seems like we're going to keep pushing higher here. If any of you have targets of where you think the S&P might stop or where the SPY might stop here and what might make for a good reversal area, definitely interested to that. I know it's hard. We had a new all-time high breakout here. Corporate earnings are strong. Hard to come up with a spot where it's going to stop. But if you have any of those, let me know. Now, in the meantime, let's take a look at some insights from analysts here. Today, we've got BlackRock giving us some insights. Analysts at BlackRock maintain a pro-risk stance on the U.S. stock market. And that's driven by the powerful corporate earnings momentum we just spoke about. The firm is currently overweight U.S. equities, viewing strong profitability as a primary driver of market outperformance amid the ongoing geopolitical disruptions. A central pillar of this outlook is the AI megaforce, which BlackRock notes is, quote, now delivering tangible revenues and allaying worries over outsized capital spending, end quote. This trend has led to an atypical pattern of upward earnings revisions for both 2025 and 2026. While Magnificent Seven tech stocks remain dominant, BlackRock observes that, quote, broad earnings growth looks healthy in a still resilient U.S. economy, end quote. Regarding the broader economy, BlackRock anticipates a resilient but gradually cooling labor market characterized by moderate payroll growth and steady layoffs. However, they remain vigilant about persistent inflation. The firm is tactically underweight long-term U.S. treasuries, cautioning that, quote, the recent energy price shocks compound this by aggravating pre-existing inflationary pressures, end quote. Ultimately, BlackRock favors AI beneficiaries and infrastructure sectors to navigate this environment. So we'll see which one we go here. It does seem like the rally is pretty hated, but it does seem like more and more people are starting to move over to that cautious optimism, right? We all know that the actual conflict isn't over and we might get headlines back and forth, but still probably pays to remain cautiously optimistic. All right, now let's talk about one of the big earnings reports yesterday. This is going to be ARM, a semiconductor name. And not all that great for ARM, it turns out. ARM actually traded up after the earnings print to 268.74, closed at 237, traded up to 268, then reversed pretty nasty and actually set some new lows, revisited those lows here in the pre-market today. So part of me wonders if ARM's actually going to roll over a little bit. ARM printing 217s right now in the pre-market. Again, that's after closing at 237. Now let's take a look at the report here itself. On Wednesday, ARM defended its position in the booming CPU market after analysts questioned how the chip designer plans to compete against rivals like Advanced Micro Devices, ticker AMD, and Intel, ticker INTC, and the hyperscaler-backed custom chips. During the company's fourth quarter earnings call, Bank of America securities analyst Vivek Arya asked ARM CEO Rene Haas where the company fits in an increasingly crowded AI CPU landscape, especially as AMD projects a total addressable market of as much as $120 billion while maintaining expectations for significant market share. Haas brushed off concerns about market crowding, saying ARM was among the first companies to project $100 billion AI CPU opportunity during its, quote, ARM Everywhere, end quote, event earlier this year. Quote, now it's sort of nice to see the rest of the market catching up and going higher than the number, end quote. That was from Haas. He then added that AI workloads are driving a sharp increase in CPU core counts as AI agents run multiple independent tasks simultaneously. Haas said ARM has already unveiled AGI CPU features, 136 cores, and suggested future chips could eventually scale to 256 or even 512 cores. Huge numbers. Quote, in a very, very high core count design, what really matters is efficiency per core, and that is actually where we're world class, end quote. Haas also pointed to ARM's growing presence across AI infrastructure, citing partnerships and developments with NVIDIA, ticker NVDA, Amazon, AMZN, and Alphabet's GOOG. Quote, the very large and most prevalent accelerators by volume all connect to ARM, end quote. Haas said this referring to NVIDIA's Blackwell and Rubin platforms, Google's TPU systems, and Amazon's Trainium chips. Quote, increasingly, they're going to be 100% ARM, end quote. The CEO also argued that many enterprises, including Meta platforms, ticker META, SK Telecom, and OpenAI, are unlikely to build custom ARM-based CPUs themselves because of engineering complexity and capital requirements. Quote, I'm actually confident that by the end of the decade, I believe the largest market share by CPU type will be ARM, end quote. ARM reported fourth quarter earnings of 60 cents per share, which did top Wall Street's estimates of 58 cents per share. Revenue for the quarter came in at $1.49 billion, ahead of the analyst expectations of $1.47 billion. For the first quarter, the company's forecast revenue of approximately $1.26 billion, plus or minus $50 million, implying roughly 20% year-over-year growth at the midpoint. So how many of you like ARM? How many of you think maybe this is one that hasn't quite gone as much as the rest? Are you buying ARM on the dip here today? Do you have a spot for ARM? Let me know. I'm sure we'll take a look at that chart there. 214 really kind of looks to be here. Let me actually just go back to Pro real quick because I do want to take a look at this ARM chart, and we should have plenty of time here today. Here's what we're looking at. So yesterday's move actually looked pretty good, right? Pretty bullish candle, new high there. Today, though, we're end up trading back down. Part of me thinks that we fill this gap, maybe 213, 212-ish. And if that holds, perhaps we can make a move back to the upside. Tyler says long-term buy for ARM. Okay, you do like this long-term. Tyler, let me know if you're adding on weakness or anything like that. on ARM, if you want this to pull in a little bit more. And if you do want it to pull in a little bit more, where to? Kathy says, I'm holding ARM long-term as well. Would you folks consider adding if this thing pulled into the 20-day moving average, maybe even held this 198-200 area? Just let me know. Down here, 7.5% after what looked like a pretty good report, honestly. All right, another stock that reported earnings here was going to be DoorDash. This one soared. DoorDash, excuse me. Stock soars on record membership signups, customer engagement, and that offset the revenue miss. Let's dive in here and see what happened. DoorDash reported first quarter revenue of $4.04 billion, which was up 33% year over year. The revenue total missed a street consensus estimate of $4.14 billion, though, according to data from Benzinga Pro. The company reported 42 cents per share in earnings per share for the quarter. That beat the street consensus estimate of 37 cents per share. Total orders were up 27% year over year to 933 million. The company reported marketplace GOV of 31.6 billion, which was up 37% year over year for the quarter. The company said its U.S. Dash Pass members accelerated in the first quarter. How many of you folks have the Dash Pass? Just out of curiosity, I don't think I've heard anybody talk about that. Quote, we've had a strong start to 2026 with rigorous execution across our business, end quote. And it goes on, the company went on to say, quote, in Q1 of 2026, continued product improvements and healthy consumer demand trends helped drive record membership signups, a new high for monthly active users, and strong consumer engagement across our marketplaces, end quote. Excuse me, the company expects second quarter marketplace GOV in a range of 32.4 billion to 33.4 billion, and that was up from the first quarter total. DoorDash is also guiding for second quarter adjusted EBITDA to be in the range of 770 million to 870 million. The company's Dasher gas relief program, is expected to have a gross cost of over 50 million in the second quarter. For the full year, DoorDash expects adjusted EBITDA as a percentage of marketplace GOV to increase slightly compared to 2025, excluding the impact of Deliveroo. It's always fun to say Deliveroo. So let me know what you folks think on DoorDash. Do you like this? Does this make a good trade? I know this is one of Red Dog's trades that has always been pretty good. This thing did pop here today. Looking at the chart, 216 is where the 200-day is. It's been in a downtrend. It would be great if it could recapture that. The pop here today has us trading around 182 with an after-hours high of 196. So we're still actually a pretty good ways away from that 200-day moving average. All right. Now, we just recently talked about AMD's earnings. I know there's a lot of people out there that like NVIDIA versus AMD. I know there's definitely a cohort of people, including 13 actually, that thinks AMD is going to do a kind of a catch up to NVIDIA. Looks like we're going to have some pretty major data center players here. And this article is outlining why AMD could be NVIDIA's biggest threat. You know, we've also talked about some of these IPOs really drawing some of the capital out of these big names. It'll be interesting to see if that does happen. It'll be interesting to see if one stock has more capital being pulled out of it than the other, or if it feels that way. We'll see. Nonetheless, Advanced Micro Devices, or AMD, recently reported earnings driven by explosive data center growth. As the AI market evolves, AMD's dual dominance in CPUs and GPUs is positioning the company as a formidable challenger to NVIDIA's long-standing reign. While NVIDIA has historically dominated the AI training landscape with its high-powered GPUs, the next phase of artificial intelligence is leveling the playing field. Ben Bajarin, CEO and principal analyst at Creative Strategies, told Schwab Network that the true advantage in today's market lies in owning the entire compute stack. Quote, we like the integrated approach that AMD will bring both with CPUs and GPUs, end quote. He emphasized that building both processors at scale allows for crucial design co-optimization or very specifically tuned inference as well as training systems, end quote. This Integrated strategy, as they're calling it, is exceptionally rare and makes AMD uniquely equipped to directly rival NVIDIA as data centers demand increasing complexity, harmonized hardware architectures. The underlying catalyst for this strategic shift is the rapid rise of agentic AI. These intelligent agent tasks servers to complete complex workflows rather than just passively training models, breathing new life into the server CPU market. Analysts now project the CPU total addressable market to skyrocket from 25 billion to over 100 billion by 2030. And that's interesting. I mean, that's a 4x increase by 2030. It'll be interesting to see what that does for AMD's price. There are new price targets that are in the 500s already for AMD. I know we've had several folks kind of floating maybe 800 as a possible price by 2030. Sounds like if the CPU total addressable market continues to skyrocket like predicted, that might be possible. AMD CEO Lisa Su confirmed this fundamental inflection point, explicitly stating that, quote, data center is now the primary driver of our revenue and earnings growth, end quote. Matt Bryson, managing director at Wedbush, captured this momentum perfectly in his recent research note, quipping, quote, the CPU is dead. Long live the CPU, end quote. Well done. Well, AMD's highly anticipated next-generation GPU hardware, including Helios, remains largely a second-half story. The company's surging CPU demand provides vital stability right now. And as Bryson pointed out, if massive AI project timelines slip, AMD can simply shift resources to the server compute side. With a booming compute market, let me catch up here. Sorry about that. With a booming compute market and persistent industry supply constraints, AMD's integrated playbook provides the ultimate insurance policy against NVIDIA's absolute dominance. So just right off the top, let me know, do you folks think AMD is a decent catch-up? Do you think that this actually makes for a decent trade? I know AMD's chart looks extended. They all do right now. So maybe you're in the camp of waiting for a pullback, which makes a lot of sense to me. But let me know if you think AMD can catch up to NVIDIA. That is interesting to me. Okay, now, I know CapEx has been a big story, right? This is pretty much tied to all of the AI names. Causes stocks to go up. It causes the stocks to go down. Cramer here defends the massive AI spending spree and talks about demand. And remember, a lot of the CEOs have been talking about this too. Big tech companies must continue investing aggressively in artificial intelligence infrastructure because customer demand for computing power is already accelerating. CNBC's host Jim Cramer said this while defending the ongoing data center spending boom. Cramer pushed back against comparisons between the AI rally and the, quote, if you build it, they will come, end quote, theme from the movie Field of Dreams. He argued that the analogy misunderstands the current market because cloud providers are not building infrastructure on speculation. They are actually responding to the existing demand. And all of this was from a CNBC report that we got yesterday. According to Cramer, customers already need large-scale AI infrastructure, and cloud companies are racing to expand capacity fast enough to keep pace. He said the momentum behind the data center build-out continues to strengthen as more computing capacity is absorbed. Cramer stressed that the AI boom is not a, quote, fairy tale, end quote, as companies are already deploying workloads and searching for infrastructure providers to handle them. Cramer pointed to Amazon, ticker AMZN, the web services, as proof that hyperscalers cannot afford to slow down investment. And that's true. And really the question is, how much is too much? And I don't think we have an answer for that. Amazon plans to spend about $200 billion in capital expenditures this year, with most of the spending directed towards expanding their data center capacity. Referencing comments from Amazon CEO Andy Jassy, Cramer argued that companies that fail to expand infrastructure risk losing customers and revenue opportunities to rivals. You don't want that. He warned that if Amazon reduces spending, customers could shift workloads to competitors such as Alphabet, which is ticker GOOG or GOOGL, or even Microsoft, ticker MSFT, instead. According to Kramer, cloud providers must keep building because AI customers will move to whichever company offers necessary computing power and infrastructure. Kramer said major AI companies, including OpenAI, Anthropic, and Meta, ticker META, are already seeking partners to support massive AI workloads. In fact, I think we heard from Dario Amodi that said that they were growing at 80x, which is just insanity. Kramer emphasized that these customers are actively spending money now, not waiting for future adoption cycles. And in his view, the urgency surrounding AI infrastructure spending reflects the immediate need for computing capacity across the entire industry. Kramer also argued that many skeptics continue underestimating both the scale and the speed of the current AI investment cycle. And let me know if you folks think this is all circular, if you're worried about that or anything. Kramer said companies that delay infrastructure expansion risk falling behind, that delay infrastructure expansion, they risk falling behind competitors that continue to build out data center capacity aggressively. Morgan Stanley raised its capital expenditure forecast for major technology companies, now expecting Amazon, Alphabet, Meta, Microsoft, and Oracle to collectively spend about $805 billion in 2026, up from its earlier estimate of $765 billion, just massive, massive numbers. The firm also increased its 2027 projection to roughly $1.1 trillion, compared with its previous forecast of $951 billion. We're at the point now where some of these numbers are just so large, it's borderline laughable, just in how big they are. But Kramer says data center spending, it's okay. It's okay. And I mean, I think this is going to be one of those things where it's okay until it isn't. And I wouldn't even be surprised if, like, all of a sudden some of this momentum kind of shifted to the downside as worries about spending just continue to increase. We'll see how it all shakes out. I know a lot of these companies are saying, look, in order to get more revenue, we have to do this. We have to do this. Zach here says there will be a rotation out of the high liquidity names once the war settles. I'm also wondering, and maybe the war actually lines up with this, Zach. I'm almost wondering if we see a rotation out of those same high liquidity names that you're talking about when we get some of these IPOs. And then maybe with the war ending up here, there was talks about that maybe next week. So we'll see. Canarp calling it World War III. Canarp, believe me, man, this is not World War III. You would know it. You would know it if it was. Okay, 28 minutes ahead of the hour. Plenty of time here. I do have another story here. This one is about the folding phone. I know that there's some mixed opinions on these folding phones. I'm going to stay on top of this because I do think that the release of some of these devices can actually move more than just one stock. Like if Apple puts out a really amazing folding phone, I think you're going to see other stocks respond to that. This is tough for me because the folding phone is not something that I want personally. Normally, I'm very aligned with the bleeding edge of technology. But this one, I think I'm okay. I don't think I need this. Anyway, I'd be curious to get the group's opinion on this. Apple, ticker AAPL, they have a rumored foldable iPhone that could finally solve the biggest problem plaguing the foldables, the ugly display crease that keeps many buyers away. I would agree that the display crease is ugly, but furthermore, a big worry for me is that that's going to be like a weak point of the device, and it's going to be an expensive device, and it's going to need to be repaired or replaced, and I would just like to avoid that. But that's just a side rant. As global foldable smartphone shipments jumped 18% in 2025, consumers are demanding thinner designs, stronger hinges, and near invisible folds, and Apple appears ready to make a crease-free screen its biggest weapon in the next smartphone race. Counterpoint research analyst Varun Mishra said foldable smartphones continue gaining traction in 2025 as OEMs expanded their portfolios and consumers became more aware of the category. However, the segment still represented only 1.6% of global smartphone shipments. And this is why I'm focused on this, because that is such a low percentage that if one of these phones has like this viral effect, like everyone feels that they need it and the sales are just incredible, that's gonna lead to multiple trades, frankly, in the market here. Again, 1.6% of global smartphone shipments. Everyone has a smartphone. Some folks have two. I think that number can climb significantly if a really good product is released. Zach says, I let cutting edge tech prove itself before I jump in. Zach, I am generally with you there. There are only a couple of instances where I don't do that. But to me, that it's safe, right? That's the safer play. I don't need to be first. I just need to be productive. That's the way I look at it. Anyway. Mishra said on Wednesday that global foldable smartphone shipments rose 18% year over year to 19.6 million units in 2025, and that was led by ongoing design improvements from smartphone makers. He said OEMs continue refining foldables by making the devices thinner, improving the battery and camera performance, and of course, minimizing those ugly display creases. Mishra identified the crease as one of the biggest pain points for both existing users and potential buyers because it affects media consumption and photography experiences. And that doesn't even mention the potential weak point of the phone. Counterpoint Research's China survey showed that existing foldable users ranked, quote, minimizing the crease hinge, end quote, as the top improvement area for both fold and flip devices. Potential buyers in China also ranked crease reduction as the second most important purchase consideration after battery life. So again, the crease is going to be the biggest thing with these phones. Mishra said Apple plans to launch its foldable iPhone in the second half of 2026, featuring a liquid metal hinge and crease-free display technology. That sounds awesome. He said Apple built on solutions already introduced by Samsung, ticker SSNLF, on the OTC, and Oppo, OPPO, while adding its own structural innovations. According to Counterpoint Research Display Service, Apple intends to use a dual ultra-thin glass structure by replacing the PET black plate beneath the polyamide substrate with the UTG. I wonder if Corning will be used for this. Mishra said the dual-layer glass design improves rigidity and distributes stress more evenly during folding, helping create a smoother bend and significantly reducing the crease formation. He also noted that Apple is considering replacing the traditional OCA/PET coating stack with a high-viscosity coating to reduce creases further and improve shock absorption. Mishra said China remained the world's largest foldable smartphone market in 2025, accounting for nearly 44% of global foldable shipments. He said larger displays and compact form factors remain the key differentiator for foldables, but brands still need to solve durability and usability concerns to drive that broader adoption. This is exactly what I'm waiting for. Mishra added that crease reduction could become a critical conversion factor for brands competing in the foldable market. And we'll see if Apple does its normal Apple thing and just comes in here and bosses this entire segment if they release a better phone. You know, they talk a lot about the crease here, but the battery life is also something not to be trifled with. For me, battery life, arguably one of the most important things for the phone because you use it for work, safety, entertainment, pretty much all of that. And when you have twice the size of a screen, I think it's reasonable to assume you're going to use twice the battery. You're going to need a big one there, and it's going to need to stay working. Just crazy. Producer, I appreciate this. My opinion is that no matter how well they remove the crease, it will eventually come back over time and repeated use. Amen, producer. I think you're exactly right. I think this has one of the issues where it looks and feels amazing when it's brand new. And then 6 months down the road, it's like, oh, it's not as great as it once was. My only pushback on that, and we'll see how the consumer reacts to this, but my only pushback on that is that going to drive a faster upgrade cycle? I don't know what the answer is, but if the answer to that is yes, that might be even more money for these companies. I, for one, would be pissed if I was buying a new phone more frequently because my foldable screen isn't as good. Something to see. Like I said, this one's an odd one for me because I don't feel the desire to have it myself, but at the same time, I recognize what kind of opportunity this would mean for some of the smartphone makers, and then by proxy, then some of those stocks. I think it behooves us to stay on top of that. Okay, next story here is going to be on Uber. They reported earnings yesterday. They actually traded up. They did a good job holding the gains as well. Some of these companies that report earnings come back in, but Uber did not do that. Uber may stay on top for the next several years. These are a couple of reasons why. And I know we talk about, the robo-taxi versus Waymo and then Uber. We've talked a lot about why Uber is better than Lyft and, how it competes with DoorDash and all of those things. Uber has actually been a great stock, and I think there's going to be more really good trading opportunities in this going forward. Uber Technologies, ticker UBER, strengthened its growth outlook after delivering better than expected first quarter 2026 results, which prompted BNP Paribas analyst Nick Jones to maintain an outperform rating and a $108 price forecast on the stock. Jones said on Wednesday that Uber reported strong first quarter results with gross bookings reaching $53.7 billion. That's about 1.5% above analyst consensus estimates of $52.9 billion. Revenue came in at $13.2 billion, broadly in line with Wall Street expectations, while adjusted EBITDA reached $2.5 billion, topping consensus by roughly 2%. Uber also exceeded expectations on profitability, with adjusted EPS of 72 cents, beating the estimate of 70 cents. For the second quarter, Uber guided gross bookings to $56.25 billion to $57.75 billion, which was above street expectations at the midpoint, while adjusted EBITDA guidance of $2.7 to $2.8 billion was roughly 4% above consensus. Adjusted EPS guidance of 78 cents to 82 cents also bracketed analyst expectations. Jones modestly raised his revenue and adjusted EBITDA forecast following the results and guidance update while maintaining his $108 forecast price based on a 16x EV to 2027 adjusted EBITDA multiple. Jones highlighted accelerating momentum across Uber's mobility and delivery business despite macro and autonomous vehicle concerns. Uber's mobility gross bookings rose about 25% year over year to $26.4 billion, which beat consensus estimates, while delivery goods bookings climbed about 28% to $26 billion. He noted that Uber continued gaining traction through its barbell strategy, where lower cost ride options boosted user frequency, while premium offerings generated significantly higher profit dollars. Jones also pointed to strong adoption of Uber One, with membership growing more than 50% year over year to 50 million users. And actually, Uber CEO Dari Kashwahari was on CNBC touting Uber One yesterday. Uber One now drives half of gross bookings across mobility and delivery. Cross-platform engagements also continued improving, with cross-platform users growing 1.5 times faster than single-segment consumers. Jones noted that nearly $15 billion in delivery gross bookings now originate from the mobility app. Uber for Business also remained a major growth driver, which I guess kind of surprised me, generating more than $5 billion in annualized gross bookings while growing roughly 45% year over year across more than 300,000 organizations globally. Quote, "We see Uber as being positioned to remain dominant for the next several years," end quote. And that was the analyst consensus in the report. Jones said Uber remains well-positioned despite lingering investor concerns that autonomous vehicles will disintermediate the platform. Uber currently offers autonomous vehicle rides in 8 cities and plans to expand to as many as 15 cities globally by year end. The company has signed or expanded partnerships with Zoox, WeRide, which is ticker WRD, Wave, Wabi, Rivian, which is ticker RIVN, Pony AI, ticker PONY, NVIDIA, ticker NVDA, Baidu, ticker BIDU, Lucid Group, ticker LCID, Nissan Motors, which is NSANY on OTC, Hertz Holdings, ticker HTZ, and Safe Driver. According to Jones, autonomous vehicle trips on Uber's platform increased 10x year over year, so it is growing significantly. He also highlighted Uber's growing use of artificial intelligence across consumer, driver, and internal operations. Uber launched Cart Assistant to help users build grocery orders, introduced Earner Assistant for drivers and couriers, and rolled out OneSearch to unify ride, food, and retail discovery within a single interface. That makes a lot of sense to me. Internally, Uber now generates more than 10% of its production-ready code autonomously through AI coding agents. That number actually seems low. Jones maintained Uber's dominant position in mobility and delivery, expanding autonomous vehicle ecosystem, strong network effects, and capital-light business model should continue to drive revenue growth, margin expansion, and free cash flow generation over the next several years. So who here likes Uber as an investment? I know this stock feels more like a trade than a hold for our group, but I would love to hear if anyone likes this for a potential investment. Okay, last story here. It's on Nancy. It's the Nancy Pelosi stock tracker, and it highlights Claude Pharma's earnings play. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. So it hasn't played out yet. Wanted to bring it to you. We talk a lot about some of these government insiders seemingly making all of this money. This perhaps the most notorious of them. Let's see what this story has for us, and I would love to get your opinion on whether this is a buy or not. On Wednesday, Nancy Pelosi's stock tracker drew attention to an AI-powered portfolio's latest biotech wager after Claude AI opened a new position in Denali Therapeutics, which is ticker DNLI, ahead of its earnings report. The AI-run portfolio, known as the Claude portfolio, allocated roughly 4.82% of its $50,000 fund to Denali, framing the move as a high-risk earnings play centered on the commercial launch of Avlaya, the company's treatment for neurological Hunter syndrome. Claude argued Denali's first quarter report could offer key insights into patient starts, payer coverage penetration, and manufacturing run rate, end quote, while suggesting that Wall Street may be undervaluing the stock. Quote, the orphan disease commercial ramp cadence is the question the market is pricing uncertainly, end quote. Claude said that, adding that the uncertainty may create an attractive entry point. Claude's thesis also pointed to Denali's competitive advantage after Regenx Bio, ticker RGNX, rivals gene therapy, received an FDA complete response letter earlier this year, effectively leaving Avlaya without an approved competitor in the U.S. market. The AI model projected a $24.75 price target for Denali, which implies more than 32% upside over the next year. Claude acknowledged substantial risks, including Denali's annual cash burn, manufacturing scale-up challenges, and the limited patient population for its ultra-rare disease treatment. Quote, the sizing at 4.82% reflects those risks, end quote. That was directly from the AI. Nancy Pelosi's stock tracker summarized the move by posting, quote, we now have Claude doing pharma earnings plays. Will be interesting to see how this one plays out, end quote. Denali is set to release its first quarter 2026 earnings on May 19th, with Wall Street projecting a loss of 71 cents per share on revenue of $3.82 million. In the prior quarter, the company posted a loss of 73 cents per share, outperforming analyst expectations of 75 cents, though revenue did fall short at zero versus the projected 8.99 million. So, you let me know. Are we buyers or sellers of Denali Therapeutics, ticker DNLI? Let me know. All right, you guys are saying oil is going lower. Indeed, oil down another 5%. CL Futures doing its absolute best to hold on to the 90 handle. Remember, we're expecting more downside if the conflict can actually get resumed. Okay. Let's go back to Pro. Oh, you know what? I do want to do a street tweet segment. We only got one here. What are we, 11 ahead of the hour here? We're going to have plenty of time before 13 gets on. In fact, I probably am going to need to take a look at some tickers here before he gets on. The tea's gone cold. Still delicious, but it's gone cold. All right. Let's go ahead and do a very quick street tweets. Zach kind of already hinted at this here this morning, which was rather amusing. But this saga, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. Okay. Let's go ahead and do street tweets. All right. So earlier we had Zach saying that the buyout or the proposed buyout of by GameStop of eBay was a hoax because eBay suspended Ryan Cohen's account. Michael Burry says the play just went hostile because of this. So apparently, again, the story here for anyone that might have missed this, Ryan Cohen posted some of his personal items for sale on eBay and posted a picture of it. He jokingly quipped that I'm trying to help the purchase of eBay by selling some of my stuff on eBay. Evidently, that was enough to get his account suspended. Now, in the initial offer or in the initial facts that came out about this potential offer, he had said, Ryan said that, I guess GameStop's board, maybe it wasn't directly from him. I want to be fair. Said that they were not opposed to going hostile for this. And now his account is suspended. So Michael Burry just reads the tea leaves here, and apparently GME's play for eBay went hostile. So we haven't seen the end of this. I have no idea which way it's going to go. I don't own either of these stocks right now. So as far as I'm concerned, just get that popcorn ready. We're going to enjoy this. If any of you folks do have opinions on either one of this, or better still, have a trade on either one of these, I definitely want to hear that. Can't bring myself to do that just quite yet. All right, let's go back to Pro. And let's take a look at, I guess we can just do ticker time here until 13 shows up. Let me catch up on some of the comments. Sama says, man, that dude's interview was a disaster about the GameStop offer. Oh, you are 100% correct with that. It was so awkward. I was sitting there like I just, and what's crazy, they actually had the CEO of Fanatics, his name escapes me here this morning. I'm sorry about that. But they asked him about that. And he knows all these people. He knows Ryan Cohen. He's worked with them before. He knows the eBay CEO. And one of the things he said is he's like, yeah, look, the interview was bad. It just didn't go over well. But at the same time, Ryan Cohen's a really smart guy. So he doesn't necessarily want to poo-poo the entire idea or anything like that. Like I said, I have no idea how this is going to shake out. I'm watching from the sidelines, so it's easy for me to wear a smile about this all the time. But man, that was a moment, as they say. That was a moment. Okay. Long Uber, been buying little bits on the way down the last 6 months. It is a long-term hold. My 80-year-old parents started using it. Okay. Well, look, I would imagine by now everyone at some point has used Uber. I don't even think that the age matters. But I agree. And as far as Uber versus Lyft, that's absolutely crushing it. That's not even a comparison. So to me, at least you're picking the right one. Come on, guys, it's half cash, half stock. That is a meme that's going to live on forever. It's half cash, half stock. Details are on the website, Tyler. That's good. That's good. But okay, Jay, so you like Uber. Cool. Let me ask you, do you have a target at all? Why do I have ARM's chart up? I should have at least brought Uber's chart up. Do you have a target here? Here's one of the things that we discussed in Uber yesterday. We actually have two potential inverse head and shoulders. We actually have one, this small one here. So left shoulder, head, right shoulder. I know it's a little bit janky. It's not the greatest. So this one's already formed, and it looks like it's starting to push away. We actually traded above the 500-day yesterday, and we're holding above that here today. The 200-day is in target or in sights here, just shy of 85. Let's call it 85, though. But also, if we continue to trade sideways here out until July, or if we dip a little bit here, if we basically stay in here out into July, we have a potential longer term inverse head and shoulders here as well. So Jay, I would think ultimately you would want this thing to trade back above 100. But let me know if you have another price target there. David, this is interesting. I've never used Uber. I drove for Uber for maybe a month. It's not worth it. I've heard that about Uber. I've heard between all of the fees and then the gas and then the wear on the car is that it's not actually worth it for the drivers. It does provide something that anybody can just kind of pick up and get some extra cash in there. But I'm with you on that not being worth it. I would imagine you'd have to have a lot of things kind of planned out for that to be worth it. Routes, times of day, gas efficient car. Totally understand all of that. Ari stock market. I'm sorry. I missed this. Ryan, I've been holding DNLI for a few years. I did my DD. Hey, that's awesome to hear. No Claude silliness. I can respect that. Okay. So let me ask you then, if you've done your own DD on this, what is it about this that you really like? Is there anything that you can share with the group on why this would be a good buy or anything like that? I will say that it does look like there's some pretty decent support down here at 13. It's nice that we're back above some of these moving averages, and it's kind of in a consolidation range. So if it breaks out of this, I would say 24 is probably the high spot of that. It probably puts 30 and 32 in play there. But I'd love to know what your thesis on DNLI is. This is not one that I have. Lion says you can see Uber going back to 100. That wouldn't surprise me. Kathy giving us the gold. Gold and mining stocks are up today. Let's take a look at GLD. Still kind of sideways, no? I feel like this is just still kind of chopping around here. It is up 1% though in the pre-market. Let me know if there are any of the other ones that you really want to take a look at there from those tickers that you gave. JD, thoughts on Cell H after the earnings beat? Celsius here. Let's see where this is at. All right. So I think last time we kind of traded Celsius as a group, we had this kind of really big move. I think this was a really, really awesome call by the Crow back in the day. The recapture of the 200, the back test of the 200 area, the nice ramp. Now we've kind of rolled over here. I'll be honest with you. It's up 4.42% here today, $34. So we are taking out the 20-day moving average. That's great. But honestly, I really think we're going to need to get to 38. Yeah. So 38, this is a recent support level that we broke. We also have the 50-day moving average coming in there at 38.22. I guess this is a good, I didn't really look through the report, so I don't know if there's anything past the headline here. Energy drink battle with Pepsi in its corner. I'll tell you what, I for someone that's like really kind of dialing back any drinks that have sugar in them to zero, I will say that like the Celsius energy drink, way more palatable than anything that like Pepsi or Coke makes, at least as far as I can think off the top of my head. The flavors are really good, but I just don't, any of this like fake sugar stuff, like I just don't do it myself. Looking at the stock here, I think as long as this stays above 30, you're probably all right. I think you're probably all right here as long as it stays above 30. Lion here says it needs to get above 38. I would agree with that, Lion. The $38 level that you see, the straight up level on the chart, plus the 50-day moving average basically being right there, I would completely agree with you. I think 38 is going to be a real key spot for this to push higher here. Great that we took out the 20, but let's see. Jay, I had asked you about your Uber price target. You got back to me. Thank you. Uber 140 in a year, 100 on the shorter term. So I'm totally looking at that $100 target right away. I'm with you there. 140. Good to know. Okay, so long term. High Standard says Hive, please. What do you think about it? I'm in deep. You know what? One of our chatters from Happy Hour brought up Hive yesterday on Happy Hour, I believe. I don't have any line on this. This is not one that I follow. Actually, I think it was Hyperliquid that you brought up. Corey, help me out here. Didn't you also talk about Hive? Looking at the chart, though, so high standard. I'm sorry, like this is just not one that I follow, so I don't have really great insight on this. But I can look at the chart here, and I will say the chart's kind of juicy, right? Chart is kind of primed. I mean, take a look. We traded down, so we had a huge spike up towards 8. Didn't quite print that. It's really come back in from it, but it's very clearly found a bottom here around 2. Right? We traded sideways. We broke away from it, very quickly came back to it, recaptured the 20 as well as the $2 level. And then we tried to test some of these levels higher. So we traded up to the 100, couldn't quite do it on the first attempt, came back to the 50, then ran through it. Now it looks like we're coming up to the 200. So here's what I would say. This is high standard. Here's what I would say. I would be not surprised at all if this thing found some resistance at 309, 310, was unable to get through it on the first attempt, very much like it did with the 100-day, and then move through it on the second or maybe even the third attempt here. I will say, though, that the chart looks like it wants to try and break higher here. And if you're in heavy, a break above the 200 probably sets up this next resistance area as your next spot, so maybe 370. And then after that, I think it's kind of gappy up to 5. So 310, 370, and then 5 is what I would think there. Here, but the chat helping you out. This is why I love our group so much. What are we at here? Oh, we're 1 past the hour. Let me bring on 13 because he can actually help give some other opinions too. Let's start our pre-market pulse right now. All right, 13, welcome. Good morning, and how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I was just trying to wrap up looking at Tara Biotherapeutics.
Okay, perfect. You'll have some time to do that here because okay. I did want to get to EKS's comments here. And thank you. I just noticed this in the chat. It was that we were talking about yesterday. That was the one that I was confusing. So
and it was the hype token.
Yeah, that's the hype. That's what it is. Okay, so I'm getting confused with all of these new tokens. This is what we actually discussed yesterday. Hyperliquid strategies, the hype token. The question here, though, was about Hive. I'm sorry for conflating that. JJ, good morning. It's great to see you again. Welcome back, buddy. But here, let me go through the chat. EKS, I love this. I appreciate you sharing this. EKS says, I have a position in Hive. Like the Bitcoin exposure, you get data center exposure. It needs to break $3 a share. The 200-day SMA, we just talked about that. That's 310. Then it's off to 4 and more. So it actually looks like EKS's spots very much aligned to what I was kind of looking at there on the chart. It provides blockchain technology, building a bridge between the digital currency and the blockchain sector and traditional capital markets. Boy, that's vague. Judge owns it too. Debt AI, that is interesting. There's a new better sugar substitute called Allulose. I have not heard about that. I just got to make sure it doesn't have microbiome problems like all the other ones do. Ari stock market here. I think this is regarding Hive. Technically, it's at an interesting level. The teams is top notch in the neuroscience space, and it's still. Is this Hive Digital? You might be talking. I'm sorry if I am conflating that with another stock that we talked about, Ari's. Let me know, though. Hive also has long-term data center contracts, also locked in a few power contracts at lower rates. That's going to be important, especially if the price keeps going up. I don't know why Zach calls you 13 the Impaler, but I'll just leave that one alone. Yeah, I'll just leave that one alone. Okay.
Everybody has a whole bunch of nicknames for me. They're all great.
Yeah. Yes. As far as Hive goes here, it sure looks to me like the 200-day test is really what's going to be next year. I think if you get this and you're in heavy, you're probably going to be in good shape. So probably go off to the races.
Just one thing about Hive here. So this, I'm just looking at the most recent highs that they had. Like there's that one from April 22nd. That was a bit of a reversal candle there, and the price ended up going lower for several days before we recovered. Yesterday, it kind of looks like it also could be a reversal candle. May also be a neutral one, but that candle yesterday is a little concerning. And if in order to alleviate those concerns, I would want to see the price climb over the 500 and close back above there, and then go on to recapture the 200-day SMA. But if we do come back in, I'd be looking at support around 260.
Okay. Okay, and that's what, 12 cents above the 100-day. 13, what I was saying here is that it looks like it bottomed, traded sideways, put the bottom in, tried to go lower, couldn't, so bottom has been confirmed. And then it looks like it crossed the 50, found some resistance at the 100, pulled back to the 50, and then on the second attempt went through it. So I'm almost wondering if we get something similar here with either the 500 or the 200, which are stacked almost on top of each other, 291 and 309 respectively there. We've pushed up to this area. Maybe we find a little bit of resistance, reset back down here at the 100-day, and then on the next attempt, we're able to take it out.
Okay, so you have the 100-day down. It's pretty much right in the same spot as the 20-day.
Correct. It is,
so
in fact, the exact same value. Exactly.
I could see it coming back down there too. That would make sense to me. But I do think that now that we're trading underneath the 500 right now, it looks like we could come in a little bit. So I would, and this had a nice run. How much did this go? It's up over 30% from when it was down here at the end of April. So it should come back in a little bit, but it looks like it could go higher. But just expect there to be some lower prints today. Is what I would say.
Okay,
it's underneath the 500 right now.
Okay, there you go. All right, movers.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's knock them out. Let's go over to the movers tab here. We're going to start with RXT. I think a couple of you were already talking about this. This is Rackspace. Rackspace shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q1 sales results. This stock popped nicely here. Looks like it found some resistance here at 4. Can't quite get through it yet.
Not it. I don't think it's that. I think it's the deal with AMD. The memorandum of understanding. I think that's
okay. So in addition to earnings, thank you, 13, also signs a memorandum of understanding to establish a new category of governed enterprise AI infrastructure. I'm assuming you've gone through this, so I'll let you do that here. Quick look at the short interest on this name. 19.65% of the float shorted with 3.09 days to cover. So it's not quite at our 20% high threshold, but boy, it's sure knocking on the door there. So there's significant short interest here. Now we have the 2 positive catalysts, it sounds like, or at least 1 for sure here, plus earnings. Float is 111.5 million. 13, what do you think here on RXT?
So in addition to the earnings, which, the earnings were mixed, so I don't think that we're seeing a lot of movement here from their earnings. And they had guidance that they kind of guided lower on EPS than what was estimated. But I think the real reason for the movement here is that MOU with AMD and what they're going to try to do. And this is for a multi-year strategic partnership. They're trying to create an enterprise AI cloud. So that's going to be a multi-year deal. The company could raise capital, RXT. So that's something that I would keep in mind here. They do have revenue, they do have cash, but only about 3/4 at their current cash burn rate. So I would think that there's going to be a capital raise coming here soon with this company at some point, especially if that deal with AMD is going to have any traction. The company also has some short interest here. 19.65% of the float is shorted, but only 3 days to cover. So the days to cover doesn't really meet our criteria, but it's still enough to where we're going to see some results of a short squeeze. This is not going to be a prolonged multi-day one. And then as far as resistance goes, we're kind of at it right now. I looked at 4 as being the next area of resistance. I didn't look beyond that for another area of resistance because the area that I'm looking at right now goes all the way back to 2023. And then it gets a little bit thicker up beyond 4. So I don't know how much further beyond 4 it's going to really go. It may get up to 450, but then the supply really gets heavier there from, actually, this is 22 that we're in now. So 2022, this consolidation from October and September, that's where we're headed right now. And that's what's got me concerned about upside.
Okay. Also, I've got a bullish fair value gap here that is still unmitigated. And what I like the most about this is that the VWAP is currently at the bottom end of the range. So actually makes it fairly easy to trade this. We'll see if it comes back in. Looks like it's curling and trying to go through 4. See if it's got the strength to do that here. Okay. What else do you have on your list? I don't want to waste time here, so we can pick and choose what you looked into first, and then
I looked at AGL.
Okay.
ATRA I also looked at, but I didn't get completely through it. So we can cover that one real quick. I mean, it looks like it wants to get going above 850 or maybe up to 9 again on the chart. But let me pull this up here. See what we got.
They issued an update following a recent Type A meeting with the FDA to discuss CRL to BLA for tubercular. What is that? Tablecular cell. I don't know what that is. One of its drugs held by its partner Pierre Fabre Pharma. So path forward for its tab cell resubmission following the meeting. And that's what the positive news is here. What's the short interest on this? There's some, but it's not crazy. 4.6%, 4 days to cover. Okay, what were you saying about the chart there? Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay. So we're trading beneath VWAP right now. It looks like it may be establishing some kind of a bull flag here. We'll see if that ends up happening. You have a bit of a trend line you can draw from the highs through that 850 candle. So that gives a bit of a trend line that we can keep an eye on to see if we'll snap it. It's only going to get snapped if we go beyond the VWAP. So if we recapture VWAP, this is going to be the next area. The trend line is going to be the next thing we want to see get taken out. Got to hold above this 730 area. That seems to be the support for now. So if we lose that, I think the next area of support is going to be down closer to 6. As far as the news goes, this was you said that was for their Type A meeting with the FDA.
Mm-hmm.
Company doesn't have a lot of cash, almost 8.5 million, and they burn about they burn close to half of that every quarter. I think they would need to raise capital. Balance sheet doesn't look great either. So there could be another capital raise coming with this at some point. Can't exactly say when, but they're going to need the cash unless some kind of deal comes along for them. All right, so here we go with ATRA. We're moving up to the VWAP. We get through VWAP, we probably see the other side of that trend line.
Here, let me draw that trend line on here. Good stuff. Okay, great stuff there. Next, we are going to do FLNC. It's okay if you didn't cover it.
Perfect. Sorry to interrupt you. Tom says ATRA has a shelf offering. So perfect. That's exactly what I was referring to. They need to raise cash. So like I said, I didn't have time to look through all this. So thank you for that. Keep that in mind, folks. If you're going to trade this, the company does need to raise cash.
That's what our chat does. That's why we've got the greatest community out there. Okay, next here is FLNC. This is Fluence Energy. Part of me thinks that this was a Jay Rice. Jay, if you're here, did you like this one at any point? In any case, FLNC, Fluence Energy, they reported Q2 financial results in the after hours yesterday. The spike brought us right to about 1940. We backed off that a little bit, but that's right back on here today. So are we actually able to take this out and move above 20? We'll see here, FLNC. This is what your daily chart looks like. We popped pretty much right back up to a previous support level. Really think that 19 and 20 here is going to be key. Quick peek at the short interest on this name. Let's see what we're working with. Yikes. 37.33% of the float shorted with 6.82 days to cover. Folks, this is short squeeze potential. It is high on both metrics for percent of float shorted and days to cover. So look for that here on the back of the positive earnings, especially if this gets rolling. Float here, 65.5 million. It's already at nearly half of its average daily volume before the market even opens here. So FLNC likely to be in play here today. 13, does the chart tell you anything on this?
It looks like we're trading up inside the ascending triangle. So you've got a horizontal line at the top at 1944, and then you have a trend line on the underside of all this price action this morning. So that creates a triangle that if it resolves the way I expect it to, the way these do, we're moving up through 1944, probably go to 20 or higher. That would not surprise me if we got all that, because the way that we're trading up into the highs that we printed after hours yesterday, that looks like the big resistance area to take out. So I would not be surprised if this goes higher than that. If we do start trading over that 1944, that's going to become a support level. And let me see if there's anything else that I can see from this chart. you are getting into a little bit more supply as we get into that $19 area. But yeah, I would say if we can get through 19, we may end up seeing 21. So let's see if we get all that. We got to get past that 1944 high.
Okay. All right, good stuff there, FLNC. Folks, I need to take a very quick pause because we are in the presence of greatness yet again. Andrew Labos from our data team is here. Now, he's calling me the GOAT, but that's obviously insane because he's the GOAT. It is what it is. But also, I want to mention here, a lot of you folks starting to get into vibe coding, starting to want to make your own custom tools and this and that. And if that's you, if that sounds like you, or if you're kind of thinking about that and you just haven't told anybody yet, Andrew Labos or someone on his team is someone that you need to talk to. We have a lot of that data that you might need to make your product. So he's here. If you have any questions, ask him. I'm sure we can help you out with any of that stuff. Andrew, it's great to see you as always, my man. All right. Next here on the list is going to be Datadog. This is ticker DDOG, and wow, what a rip here on Datadog. Datadog shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q1 financial results and raised its fiscal year 26 guidance above estimates. Also, the company issued Q2 guidance above said estimates. The stock is up 30% here today. We had an impulse move. We had a move sideways above the VWAP, and we had a new high set already. So let's see where the strength, where it takes us here today, I guess is what I'd like to say. Here's what your daily chart looks like. Yowza, look at this pop. 200, definitely the next resistance area. I don't know if that's going to be in play here today, but keep that on your radar. Short interest on this name, 3.94%, 2.8 days to cover. It's some, but it's not really a whole lot. I doubt it comes into play here today. Float 286 million. We're already over half the average volume traded post earnings. That's no surprise. 13, you have any thoughts here on Datadog?
That 200 spot is very interesting. That was the resistance back in November 2021. That was the resistance back in November last year. And it's not November, but it's shaping up to be resistance again here in May. But I get the sense that this may end up becoming a support level because if we can get over 200 and close above that, I think we've broken through a major resistance level, and it's going to become support, and we're going to want to see that hold. Now, that might lead the price to being a little extended. We'll have to see what the RSI is when we do get to 200, but I'm a little less confident that we're going to see this reject at 200 for a third time. Maybe it happens initially, but I think we're going through 200. That's just the way that I'm kind of viewing this this price action. I think that because remember how I say the more we hammer a particular level, the more likely it is to move through it. Yep. This is a little bit sooner of a visit than last time. We're the last visit was like 4 years apart. Here we are just months apart. I think that we could see a move through 200 here. Okay.
We'll see if we get that on Datadog. This will be interesting. Boy, I'll tell you what, of all of the earnings reports yesterday and today, if you were playing Datadog to the upside, you a winner. You a winner. Okay, before we move on to JMIA Knarp, Anne-Marie Ban was going to teach us, ? What happened? Is it this week? Knarp, nothing has changed, my man. Nothing has changed. I wonder if Knarp has got into the helium supply that's being, not transported through Hormuz. I wonder if Knarp's eating it up. Knarp, Anne-Marie is on Tuesdays and Fridays every week. Her days never change. So we will have her tomorrow. What I would suggest to you, if there's a stock you want her to set up an options trade for, think about that now, get it in, and we'll lead with that tomorrow when we bring her on. But it is tomorrow, not today. Okay, next here, I'm going to do JMIA. And this one...
Are you ever going to do AGL?
What?
Are you ever going to do AGL?
No, I was going to wait for you to say something because you said you did all this work on that, and I'm going to skip it intentionally now. Okay, that was perfect. Because that was so good, we'll do AGL next. Let me very quickly do JMIA. Oh, 13, you got me. I got it right there. Got it right there. JMIA, a long hold and moving. Amazon of Africa, ? That was from Forever 21 Bitcoin. Barry, I hope that you were here for the opening news. I shouted you out during the Stocks in Focus when we talked about Beyond Meat. Wink. Now, JMIA, this has been a great trade. It's been a great stock to trade for a long time. I've traded this one a number of times in the past. I know a number of other folks that trade this. I know a couple of people that have had arguments over this stock. So this is a good one. Jumia Technology shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q1 sales results. The stock's up 26%. As Barry said, this is sometimes viewed as the Amazon of Africa. This is a nice little ramp here on some pretty good numbers. Let's see what the short interest is on this name. 4.6%, so pretty negligible there. Floats 122 million. It's almost at 1 million shares traded. On average, it trades 2 million. We're going to be well over that. Here today. 13, do you have any thoughts here on JMIA? Have you ever traded this before?
Oh, I've traded this before. It was a while ago when this was first making its debut on the market. I haven't traded it for a while, and it looks like we've come down here a little pretty significantly from some of these highs in 2025, but we are getting support from the 500-day SMA. Looks like we just recently, as of maybe yesterday, had a silver cross. That's where the 20 crosses the 50-day SMA to the upside, and that's often a bullish indicator. And here we are now knocking on the door of the 200. We're at an interesting area of resistance because if you look at back at November of last year, we're currently trading just above the low from that month, and I would expect that area to provide us some resistance. We're a little bit above it right now, so we could continue to climb higher. But then there's also the 200-day SMA in the way. So I would think that in this area that we're in, between $9 and $10, I think that we're going to see some back and forth, but I don't know how much higher we're going to go today. I feel like there's going to be some resistance in this dollar range, and if we do go higher, great. The next area of resistance I would see after that is 11, but right now I'm just kind of questioning whether or not we're going to be able to get through this $9 to $10 range.
Okay. Yeah, it does look like there's some pretty significant resistance here. It's already up 25%, so we'll see, but that is something to watch. Okay. The wait is over. AGL.
Yeah, AGL.
AGL. This is Agilon Health. I'll read the news here. I'll take a quick peek at the short interest, and I'll turn it over to you to break it down like a fraction. Agilon Health shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q1 financial results and issued Q2 sales guidance above the estimate. Also, the company raised its fiscal year 26 sales guidance above the estimates. A quick peek at the short interest here. It's actually got some, but it's not considered high. 9.63%. It's actually down a little bit from the prior read, and 2.28 days to cover. Now, float on this stock, 10.39 million. It only trades about 300,000 shares on average per day, 333. Done 200 here today. 13, what do you think here, AGL? I'm going to step away. I'll be right back.
All right, so this company reported a big jump in EPS, and when I was looking at their previous income statements, they were losing quite a bit of money. So this looks like they had a positive quarter, which is great because I was concerned about how much cash they were burning. Company does have plenty of revenue; it makes usually over $1.5 billion every quarter. They do have. They also have cash. So there's not a concern about them needing to raise it at this point, unless they really start to lose that comfortable cushion they have. As far as the chart goes, I was looking at 45 as being the next area of resistance. We haven't really been able to get into the 44 handle just yet. But if we do manage to get above 45, I was also looking at 52 as being the next area where we could find resistance. And this is based off of right now. I'm looking at there's a gap that from August that we managed to fill in the pre-market here. So we could see this come back in. But if we continue higher into the regular session, that 52 area is the next level where there's a large amount of supply just above it. So 45, 52, next upside resistance areas. We'll see what we get with AGL. Is a reverse split or two? Let's see here. Did they go to their calendar? They do a reverse split. They did a reverse split back in March. That was 1 for 25. And that's the reason why we have a 10.39 million share float. March 18th it was announced. It was recorded on March 31st. 1 for 25 reverse split AGL. Thank you very much, Jay Rice.
Okay. Boom. There we go. AGL. All right. Did you have anything else that you wanted to take a look at here?
Well, one thing that Lion and I have talked about, I don't know what his plan is, but Medtronic is a medical device company that I own, and I sold some when it was up in the hundreds or over 100, but it's since come back in, and I'm interested in maybe taking a look at picking some more of this up. One thing that I was looking at that I thought was interesting was how it's come down to a support area. Let me just get this chart up here. I think it was the monthly.
This is MDT, right? MDT monthly?
Yes.
Got it.
MDT monthly. So that 200-month SMA, we're right down there at that price. And that is has been a pretty good support area since 2012, especially in 2023 when we went down there and just did a hard reversal. Looked like we had a couple of chopsticks there on the monthly chart. So I'm kind of interested down here at the 200-day SMA again. So something I'm considering here, but I think I would want to see if this can hold above the 200-day SMA, because if it starts
200 month, right?
I'm sorry, 200 month. Yeah, you're right. The 200-month SMA. If this dips beneath it, then I may just wait a little bit more. But I'm paying attention to this one right down here because I think it's at a pretty decent discount.
Okay, EKS said he added a few MDT down here.
Oh, perfect. Okay,
you're in good company there.
Yep.
But okay, good stuff there.
And he's started tracking Abbott. Abbott's another good company too.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, we talked about this one, right? Yeah, we sure did. This one, folks loved this back up here. It is at 100. This is still rolling over here. Mm-hmm. EKS, where do you think the next support level is? Because we just broke this one. We're kind of at one, aren't we? Kind of at another support level here, maybe 85, 86 for ABT. That's right where we're at.
There may be support here. I would think in the 70s, we're going to see better support.
Okay. Let me go back to the movers because there's one more mover we need to take care of, and it is Pagaya. We had a couple of folks that were long this. Sorry, I think that's my. Yeah, we had a couple of folks that were long this overnight here into the print. Derek, shout out to you. In fact, we're going to start off with a register ring here. Pagaya Technology shares are trading higher if the company reported better than expected Q1 adjusted EPS results. So earnings here, this is popping it higher. $17 looks to be the resistance area. This is what it looks like on the daily chart. We are basically filling this gap. I think we do that. Do we go higher? Not really sure. But Pagaya here moving on earnings, fills the gap. And then what was the short interest? High. So possible squeeze potential here. 13, let me just check on something real quick. Let me take a look here at Pagaya. I'll be right back before we open.
Okay. So on the daily chart, yeah, we are coming up to some resistance. I was just looking at a monthly and thinking to myself, if this does climb a little bit higher, there may be some more solid resistance up around 1776, where that 20-month SMA is. That SMA has been a bit of a suppressant for price upside. The only real time it managed to get through it and hold above it was in May last year. It went on a run up to the 40s before we crashed right back down underneath it by February of this year. Now we're coming back up to it, looking to recapture this moving average. So I would be paying attention, in my view, to that 20-month SMA. Do we get back above and close it? Now, we have a whole rest of May to get through, but that's going to be one of the big resistance areas that I'd be keeping an eye on, that and $20. MDT, you're going to consider at around 73. All right. You got out of FLNC a while ago, never revisited. Not sure at Abbott, so it was scale. Yeah, so Abbott looks to me like that might still come in some more. I think I would I'm right there with you. I would wait a little bit. I do think it's a good company, but I think that given that nasty double top it recently had, I would wait for some solid bottoming to happen in that company.
Okay. We should be ready to go here. Less than a minute till we open.
So RTX did manage to get through that $4, went up to $4.23, but now it's coming back down underneath $4. Let's see if we can hold that level into the open.
That's RXT, by the way.
And ATRA, we moved through the VWAP. We tried to get through that trend line, but we got pushed back down. So we did get a little bit of that, but let's see what the regular session gives us in the next 15 seconds here. Maybe we get another attempt.
Okay. And let me know if you have any thoughts on the Rocket Lab earnings. Someone asked about that earlier. And then AMPX. Matthew would like to take a look at AMPX, so maybe we can do that after the opening print as well. Not ignoring any of you folks there. Who thinks ARM is a long out of the open, by the way?
The long ARM. Okay, let's see here. What we got? FLNC out the gate going higher. ATRA. That trend line rejection sending it lower. RXT, that's trying to push higher. AGL trying to take out that 44 high from the pre-market. There goes FLNC over 20 now.
Yeah, Jay, did you ever like that one? I can't remember.
He said that he got out of it a while ago and he hasn't revisited.
Okay, but it was a winner. I'm pretty sure.
That I don't know. He'll have to answer that for you.
Yeah, I think that was a winner for him.
So FLNC, that's the one that's moving so far, and that ascending triangle did not lie. Fantastic move there with FLNC. Looks like AGL did pop up to 44.76.
Tell you what, this RXT kind of looks like it's going to go again.
It does. Not sure how much, but it does look like it's going to go a little bit. ATRA is just trying to hold that at 730 level. So that rejection of the trend line did not work out for ATRA. Now let's see if it can get support down to the 65 EMA. And watch this one be one of the ones that just ends up having a much better day after the show here. Like so many of those yesterday.
I was going to say, we actually had a bunch of those here recently.
Yeah. Looks like the whole, everything is kind of pulling right now. All the movers.
Jay is saying Warby did a gap and go. Yeah, it did. So this was a gap on its earnings and then bang, nice little pop there. ARM looks like that's going here too. Boy, I actually tried to get a fill around VWAP, couldn't do it.
Oh, baby, look at Redwire go. This one had earnings. They initially, I think they went lower.
Sorry, which one?
Redwire.
RDW, got it?
Yeah, they went lower off their earnings because there was a announcement of a, what was that called? There was like a $325 million come on, news. Not a stock. It's to sell. It's an equity distribution agreement. So it's not just that they're going to dump 350 million in common stock all at once, but it's going to be sold from time to time at market prices. So I think that's not as bad as, hey, we're just going to sell a whole bunch of shares at one fixed price all of a sudden. We've completely recaptured all of the loss that we had from yesterday on those earnings. 778 now the session high.
Folks, I am sorry to say this, but I am experiencing FOMO right now. I had an order out for some ARM shares, 219.75, never got filled. The thing is printing 228s now. If you traded ARM out of the open here on a post earnings, kind of a dead cat bounce, congrats. At this point now, we are 10 points above the entry that I was looking for that I did not get. So I'd be trimming a little bit there, but decent move from ARM here out of the gate. Sucks that I missed that.
AGL had a big pop that took it through that 45 resistance, went up to 48.40. Didn't get to 52, but it backed off before then. Still holding above 46 right now. Rack space, this is sinking, coming down beneath the VWAP. ATRA trying to recapture that 730 level. And FLNC, we had that pop up to 2029, and that has come back in and gone underneath the VWAP.
JD says we have so much FOMO over the chips this earnings. I feel you. That's literally exactly it. Like, I'm looking at this chip thing. The report wasn't terrible. The stock's pulling back. I'm like, hey, dead cat bounce at minimum here. I was asking you folks earlier if you like this long term. A lot of likes for it earlier. Just didn't get filled on it. Trying to be a little too cute with the entry, and it just ran away from me. Ran straight away from me. By the way, Uber popping here. I know we traded this one a little bit yesterday. Uber here above 80 today on a spike right out of the open. And the robot killer back in FLNC 1865. So you said that one pulled back a little bit, right? Yeah. So it pulled back here. We actually did lose the VWAP. So your entry was pretty much right at VWAP. I don't think this is done yet. Let's see if it turns around there at 18. 1790, 1789 is your 65 EMA on the 5. By the way, S&P pulled out of the open here, and S&P futures moving through the VWAP to the downside.
Redwire knocking on the door of $10.
And then, folks, really quickly, anyone that is a holdover, I'm totally out now. I did not quite get my 20. I think you might. But anyone in a holdover here from the next NAV trade, that's ticker NN. Remember, this thing sold off on the congressman trying to get a bill passed. It was viewed as a Hail Mary. We bought the dip on this one. I initially said 2021. I think you can get all out here in a mid-19 handle. So just letting you know, a little update here. This was a couple of points pretty easily. Still might see 20 here today, but just NN, that very quick swing trade there ended up working. What else we got? Sober.
Rackspace is trying to recapture the VWAP. Nice retro. He's in Redwire at 888.
And Retro, I did get your email that you sent to the info email handle, and I emailed you. I guess I'm wondering if you got that.
Rackspace recapturing the VWAP. We'll see if this can get back in business here and get above 4 again.
Yep.
Man. One that I talk a lot about, Aurora Innovation. They had earnings yesterday. Initially, that sold off, went down, and found support at 625. Today, we are higher.
Oh, my goodness.
763. Hey,
I'm going to give you a registering on this because this is now over 100% from when we initially talked about entry on this one.
I'll be over 100% when this hits 8.
Boom.
Oh, man, this was a good one. I got a shout out to Mark Chaikin for even putting this on my radar a couple of years ago.
Shaking and bacon with Chaikin.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. Palo Alto, that looks like that might recapture 200. Palantir, this is actually up today, 2.25%. And Apple looks like 290. So Apple did set a new all-time high before backing off of that high. Rackspace still flirting with that 370 area. It's our XT, by the way.
Looks like they just got a buyer to step in around 368. Hopefully that gives this price a lift. Nope.
Uber, look at that. So it did pop above the pre-market high from yesterday, but it backed off this. I'd watch that $80 level again, see if it moves through that. Let's check in on ARM. Glad I didn't chase. That pulled back here a little bit. We'll see if it gets back down to 224-ish. That might be a VWAP entry there on ARM. Rackspace coming back into its VWAP, although it is still holding it.
Chicago Realtor, good morning. He would like our thoughts on Arista Network, ANET, for a possible dead cat bounce. They had earnings yesterday.
Yeah, so here's what the chart looks like. So they actually had earnings on Tuesday after hours, but yesterday was the reaction to it. We did go lower. So I think what he's asking here is the bottom in at 141. So here's what I would say. Chicago Realtor, in a perfect world, you'd actually get this price to retest this 141 area and hold it. And I think if you did that, possible long side entry there on that. Big B's called this out as a short yesterday, and he has been literally has the Midas touch recently. So congrats on the trade yesterday. Big B's, let me know, do you think this thing holds 140? ANET's not one that I follow, but I'm thinking 140, 141 hold here might actually make a long entry. All right. RXT bouncing.
Yep. It's trying to get back above 4. I need to see that recapture of 4. Real quick with ANET on the weekly chart. You are getting some support on the weekly and the monthly charts. That 20-week and the 20-month. The 20-month actually giving support this year, both in March and April. That sent us up. But for a shorter time frame, the weekly, we are getting support from the 20-week SMA. Would want to see this turn around down here and hold 140. I think we need to hold 140. So if we don't hold that, then looks like to me we could go lower, maybe even to the bottom of this parallel channel the price has been trading in, which would mean we could see 110 if these moving averages don't hold. But if we do reverse off of these moving averages, then I would want to see a recapture of 150.
Okay, I don't have the parallel channel on here, but you can pretty much see it.
Yeah, I just used the January 2025 high, and I drew it through the October 25 high, and then I just extended to the bottom of April of last year.
So that would be right in here.
Yep.
There's your parallel channel.
Yep. That's it. All right. Let's look at these movers real quick here. So red wire. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, sorry, FLNC, it actually looks like this fell a little bit more. It is getting support from the same spot that it found support after its print, but that was in the after hours. 1650 going to be a key level there, FLNC. Which one did you have just a second ago?
I was looking at red wire. It's still trying to get into that 10 handle and hold above it, but it's being rejected at 10 for now. And then let's see, we had rack space. That's still trying to hold above VWAP and climb higher. ATRA is... This is the one with the trend line. The trend line rejected and sent the price lower. It's trying to hold above, looks like 675. If we turn around here and recapture 7, then there's another shot at trying to go through VWAP in that trend line again. But we need to see a recapture of 7. FLNC 200 EMA is going to be support from beneath here, and then AGL. This one out of the movers holding up pretty well, still above its VWAP for the moment. Yeah, I just noticed. I saw somebody mentioning about how Microsoft is up, and now we're moving in from hardware to software. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, so that's what we're getting.
So do you think that this hardware to software rotation has some more legs?
Well, let's look at some of the hardware names and just see how bad the selling has been. Because some of these hardware names have been really, really extended, like Intel. So I wouldn't, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, look, even Intel put up a reversal candle yesterday. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got some weakness from Intel that took it back down to 100, maybe even lower. Let's look at AMD, because that's also been on a run. We're watching for a hold above 400 because we want a floating island. So we're still above we're above 414 for the moment. So as long as we hold above 400, that's going to be good for AMD.
And to kind of add to that, 13, AMD had such a good day yesterday. We actually, for that floating island that you had just mentioned, we actually want to see this pull back a little bit more.
Yeah.
Let this pull. It's at 412. Let it pull back another 10 points. That would be great for our island. And we can wait till the end of the day to determine if we want to enter that or not.
Yeah. So, we're going to see some weakness in the chip names. I don't think we're going to see them like completely crater. I think we're just going to see some cooling because they've been pretty extended. A lot of them are. So, but now with that extension, we're seeing the software names that are all have been kind of hammered down. Those are becoming back into favor, and Microsoft is having an absolutely phenomenal day. Intuit is also moving up. That was absolutely hammered down on those AI concerns. Let's see where this is at now. So this is still kind of down here, trying to recapture the 50-day SMA. That seems to be the biggest hurdle right now for INTU.
Now was trading up. That was another software name. Yep. Tesla definitely had a terrific bounce. Retro saying, Ryan, did you get my email with the photos? I did not. I do think I have your email here. I won't broadcast it, but I don't see any email with pictures attached.
The only one that's really not, I don't know if it's the only one, but one of the ones we've looked at recently that's not joining the party is Fastly, and that's more in the IT services. But this thing had a really bad move down.
I was going to say, didn't this thing have earnings? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's now come down and found support around the $20 area. Some of the lows from April of last month, basically the middle of April, and some of the consolidation from March as well. Hopefully, we'll see if this can hold up here, but there's plenty of room for more downside if it can. AGL new highs.
And really quick regarding Fastly, remember, this was the stock that the entire way that it traded changed the last time it reported earnings. Now it reported earnings this time, and we're getting the opposite. This thing's down 34%. Maybe we do get a dead cat bounce here, but gosh, this looks bad. ARM, by the way, totally pulled back off its high.
I think the big problem with Fastly, because I was looking into the report a little bit, is the devil may be in the details, as their positive free cash flow generation looks to have dropped 50% year over year. And they also, when they reported, they're no longer including their stock-based compensation in their non-GAAP reporting. I think those two things may have contributed to why it's down so much today.
All right, really quick, 13, we have a webinar that we are playing after our show here today. Okay. So let me just mention this to the group here. And folks, I think you're going to like this. Quick heads up. Right after our show here today, we're going live with CBOE's Stacy Gilbert from the Options Institute for Fast Greeks, Smart Spreads, Managing Risks from Leaps to Zero DTEs. It's going to start at 11 a.m. Eastern. It is totally free. The QR code is here on the screen for you to scan. Whether you're trading zero DTEs, holding leaps, Stacy's breaking down how time to expiration shapes the risks and how spreads can help you define it. Link is in the chat. Tune in right after this. For those of you that have looked for some more help with some of the options trading, this webinar, this free webinar, might I add, might be your kickoff to that. So be sure to join us 11 a.m. Eastern today. QR code is on the screen.
Reaching Financial Freedom was asking XIFR up 4.77%. 13, give me some hope. Sorry, I don't have any hope left. But as far as this stock goes, kind of interesting because it's in power generation. It may be an interesting infrastructure play. Looks like they have some natural gas assets in Texas, as well as renewables throughout North America. So I don't know enough about this company. Looking at the chart, though, it looks like it's kind of at a resistance area historically. I mean, looking at to the left here, this 1150 area for the past year has kind of been a bit of a resistance level since we lost it in January of last year.
And 13, I'm sorry, I clicked around. What ticker?
This is XIFR.
XIFR. Yep, my bad.
But if we do manage to get beyond that 1050 and recapture 11, I would be keeping an eye on the gap fill here back from January of 2025. That would take it from about $12.65 to up to over $15. Now, I would have hoped that maybe the Q1 earnings would have given it enough of a lift to get up there, but so far it's not, and it's getting a little extended here. The RSI isn't in overbought territory, but as we approach this 1150, it's kind of getting up there. So I could see this maybe going to 12, but I don't know that we're going to enter that gap fill quite yet. But interesting company. Thanks for bringing it up. I don't know how if this is going to get back into that gap fill soon. All right. Used to be a Next Era partner. What happened? Like I said, I don't know enough about this one. Is this the one that was a Tim Melvin play?
XIFR. I don't recall that as being a Melvin play, but I suppose it's possible.
Okay. And then did you have a question? Or I thought somebody had a question about a stock.
No. AMPX. That was was one earlier, I guess.
Oh wow, that one's getting pulled down here quite a bit. Wow, this thing went up to 2280, huh? That's a fantastic run. They have earnings yesterday, and because this is one of the battery plays. I don't know if they've reached profitability yet. Let me see here what their income statement was. Yeah, they were. Oh, that was a bad quarter. 50% of the float shorted. Okay, so they guided lower on EPS. It looks like. Yeah, that's what it looks like, that they guided lower on EPS. So it seems like there's a little bit of margin compression or something like that. I don't know. I'd have to look in to see what's going on. I still like this as a drone battery play, but we've seen a lot of drone names come out, kind of fall out of favor lately.
Yeah.
Let me see where there's some support levels for this one. So we are beneath the 20, where we've lost the 50-day SMA. Looks like we could see some support around 16 or 1475. I would say somewhere between there, we could see some support. Let me look at some other charts here. Yeah, I'm kind of liking that. Kind of liking the 14 area. Let me look at some more.
Tiny pie. Oh, that's funny.
I think I would. I think that I would look at the AMPX coming into somewhere between 14 to 16. That would be my expectation for this move. And if we get that support, we'll see what they can do to improve their margins. But still like this battery play. It just may be out of favor right now with the rest of the drones. And as Jay is pointing out, there's a lot of names that have been running recently that are getting sold on earnings. And I still think that we're going to probably see a lot of that, because we do have some pretty big IPOs coming, and I think there's capital being raised for that.
Real quick here, regarding the market here, Liberatus said advanced decline is downtrending sharply, and indeed it's actually gone red. It was positive. It's now minus 54. We are seeing the SPY sell off. We saw the S&P futures move through the VWAP to the downside. That's continuing to move lower. The tick is negative. So we are seeing that kind of expand here. No upside move yet. I will say, does anyone like ARM on this just intraday here on this pullback? ARM is beneath its VWAP by about 2 points here, but it's spread pretty good. Is anyone looking to buy ARM here on a pullback? Bitcoin, by the way, that is breaking lower. That actually coughed up 81,000. That's moving to the downside. And the VIX sitting right here, 1732.
AGL climbed up to 49.87, looking to get into that 50 handle. I still think 52 is going to be the big resistance we got to watch out for. But still printing some higher levels right now. Fast food, yeah. It seems like that's kind of been the rotation, isn't it? Everybody was on that Ozempic thing for a while, and now it looks like there's a lot of miserable people, and they're going back to fast food. I miss my burgers.
There's a way to do burgers too without having it be crappy like fast food. JMIA, by the way, this dip looks like it's getting bought here. This did move back through the VWAP. This actually looks like this wants to try and re-challenge 10.
I think it really did, Lion. This is something that we've been kind of alluding to for a while, about how this has been, the whole market's been getting pretty extended. So, we're going to need to see some days like this.
Yeah. Pullback. I mean, especially after the move higher on low volume, a pullback not available. XIFR 3D, good morning. It's great to see you. XFR is one of Tim Elvin's, apparently. Okay. And then how are those memory? Oh, Joe, you asked me to explain the AMD thing, right? That's what I wanted to explain, and I couldn't remember. So here, let me do that here real quick. So Joe, you had asked, can you please explain the island you referred to with AMD? Yes. So this is one of my favorite chart formations for trading. All right. And the reason is because when it sets up correctly, it often results in a successful trade. So what I'm looking at here is when a stock pops to a new area like this, and this candle forms what looks like an island on the daily chart, right? Like we have this huge gap below. What I'm looking for, once we get this first candle, and yesterday's candle was perfect, we have basically a $30 range on this candle, right? The low here was 402, the high was 430. So we have a 28-point range on this candle. What I would like to see next is I would like to see AMD pull back, but hold the bottom of this candle. Now I have this here, that actual value I have at 402.04, but we could really call this 400 to 402. As long as AMD holds that area, my suspicion is that the price action will cause it to curl back up towards the top of the candle and then hopefully break and continue to move above the top of the candle. So again, the island here, we get some event, in this case, earnings, that pops us to a new area. We back test the bottom end of that range, in this case, 400 to 402. The stock has to hold there. If it does, then it's likely to curl back up to the top. It is this curling back to the top that we're trying to capture with a long side swing trade. Joe, let me know if that answers your question. We really want to see how AMD closes up here today for that setup.
AGL now hit a high of 51.11. That gives us less than a dollar to that 52 resistance. So could be seeing that here pretty soon. And just waiting to see if Rackspace is going to get its act together. It looks like that's trying to right now. See some resistance up at around 380. Would love for it to push right past that.
ARM VWAP test here.
So we're getting a little lift in some of these names. AGL 52.38 now. We're past that resistance. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. It's quite all right. I was actually waiting to get in there after you were done. Joe says, look at MU. Okay, Joe, really good case study. See how MU gapped and kind of formed this island? The problem with this is that the stock never pulled back. Thus, it never really gave us a clear entry. Now, if you wanted to chase it, if you believed it was just going to go higher and you were going to buy it anyway and it's going to go higher anyway, that's one thing. But as far as like the tactical terms of the trade here, on these gaps above, the stock never pulled back. So it never really gave us entry here. Now, if you're saying to me, well, Ryan, if this pulls back and holds 607, 608, and then starts to curl back up, could that work? Sure. But what we need here for the island setup is we need not only the gap higher and the island formed on the daily chart, but we also want to see a back test of that lower area. Otherwise, we're just chasing, and we don't want to do that.
AGL, if you want to pull up a daily chart, you can see where we're at with this resistance. We've come up right to this consolidation area from June of 2025. And this is the area that has me with that 52 spot. And that's why I'm concerned that we may not go a whole lot higher today with this consolidation. So, okay, so you got to back there. Well, you're at a weekly now.
I don't think I have enough candle history to go all the way back
to 2025.
No, I have it here for 2020. Here's the daily. Here's the stuff from April. What am I looking for here? AGL,
June,
right? I've got
June
the right
2025. You're in 2026.
Yeah. Here's June 2025.
Your chart is absolutely screwy. It is so much different than what my chart looks like.
Post it in happy hour. I'll bring it up. Post it in the chat. I'll put it on screen. I'll put it on screen from yours.
Okay.
Instead of figuring out what's wrong
I have
with it.
no idea why it looks so different. It's unbelievable. It's uncanny.
Uncanny. Good vocab word.
There it is in the happy hour
by
chat.
the way, got it?
And just look at how oddly different that is. You have such a different chart. I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah, that is very strange. Okay, but in any case, go ahead with your explanation because this is pretty clear.
So, okay, well, now we're getting rejected right now. So that 52 area was the spot, it looks like. And this consolidation back from June of 2025, you just have I think your cursor right beneath it. That's it right there. That's that whole area that had me concerned about where the upside might slow down. And sure enough, we ran up to that area, dabbled into the 52 handle a little bit, and now we're getting rejected. But we haven't completely sold off. So there still could be some more attempts to get through that. Also, one thing that you may have noticed here is that we're very close to a golden cross. That hasn't happened quite yet, but it looks like it could happen in the coming days if the price holds up here above 40. So
and that would be the blue crossing through the yellow there.
Yep, that's it.
Okay. Good stuff. Thank you for doing that.
Yep, and it looks like Rackspace is back. That's climbing back up towards 4.
Sure is. This thing has done a really good job holding its VWAP here.
Looks like this thing wants to get back into the 4 handle.
Light 740. That was a call sweep there, but I think that was a closing order. 2.8 million or 2.08 million, excuse me.
Sober got high again. That's a good one. Looking at light, still have a trend line here that we're above, but we did lose the 20-day SMA. That trend line, if we tested it today, that means we would see support around 840.
Here's Tesla. So Tesla, you guys called that nice little rip out of the open, came back in and held the 15 EMA right back on the highs now. What is this, 415? Yeah, it sure looks like, or 414 and a half. This is a really good question, and I would like the group. I would like more opinions than just my own here. Master of Darkness saying, how do you deal with the psychology of feeling bad because you sold too soon, even though you made a profit? Is
Buy
this
a
what greed?
with your profits? That's awesome.
Okay, so answering the question here, I don't feel bad. You never really know exactly where a stock is going to go. And if you have a thesis that ends up playing out and you book gains, I have a very difficult time aligning that in such a way where I need to feel bad about it. I will often sell things too early. It will keep going. If you are doing this all of the time, one thing that you can do is really force yourself to scale out of the trade. So however many shares you have, as long as it's more than one, you can just sell part of that position, maybe half of that position, and scale out. That way you book gains and you keep some of your exposure. So if the stock keeps moving higher, Jay Rice is really good at this. But the way I look, I would summarize it the way Lion is summarizing it here. A win is a win. A win is a win. Dead AI, I kind of like this too. Forgive and forget. There will always be another setup. That's what the market has shown us. There will always be another setup. So if you made money on a trade, just buckle down and look for the next one.
I think this is where keeping a journal is going to play a very important part in your trading career, because you're going to do things like that where you sell too early and you're like, man, I left a whole lot on the table, and it does eat at you. So it's a little bit of a self-control thing to not have that weigh on you. Sure, you left money on the table, but you still had a successful trade. And if you had a successful trade and it was within your parameters of what you were trying to get out of that trade, that is a win. But if the price keeps going and you're thinking, man, I should have stayed in and tried to hold this longer, put an entry into your journal about what you were doing, why, and try to understand why it's continued going beyond your target. I think keeping a journal is a really good way to limit the amount of mistakes, and in some cases selling too early or too late. Mm-hmm. But I think that would be my suggestion, is to just make sure you're keeping a journal and learning from the things that don't work out.
Yeah, that's a really good piece of advice. I love these two comments here too. Dan saying, feel good for those that made more money. So there's something to be said here for just kind of keeping a positive view on all of this. Dan, I don't know if this is where you were going with this, but this is definitely what I believe. Again, if you're looking at your own trade that you made and you made profit, and a bunch of other people made more because they held it longer, I don't necessarily know that you did anything wrong. Like 13 saying, maybe journal that and see if there's a pattern that you can identify. But otherwise, you still traded the setup. It still worked. So if you continue to feel good about all of that, you'll just spin that positive energy forward into your next trade. The other thing here, Market Sniper saying, if you go on a losing streak, you'll appreciate some of those small wins. Yo, this is big time facts. When you go on a losing streak, sometimes all you need is to get green on the screen. It's like a basketball player that just needs to see one ball go through the hoop, or a golfer that needs to see one ball drop into the hole. Once you kind of get that momentum building, it's easier to kind of spin it forward into more trades. Good question, though.
Yeah.
Good question on all of that.
Financial and REITs not looking so good. There will always be another trade. I remember a lot of people had FOMO with some of these really crazy names that just, well, not names, but these really crazy moves and some of these obscure names that just out of nowhere took off. Remember I think it was HKD or something like that.
Yep, HKD. Yep.
That went from like, pennies to over $2,500 in like a day or two, and then it came right back down. And some people are like, man, I can't believe I missed that. I should have jumped on. That is, one of those things that can absolutely rip your face off. It was probably better that people didn't touch that than try to jump on that train at the wrong time.
And a really good example of all of this are going to be some of these memory names. Like, we started talking about these, like SanDisk. I know we had multiple discussions here on the morning show about where's this going next when the stock was 400. It's 1,350 today. You could have bought it at 400, sold it at 700, been like, I'm a god. And then 2 weeks later, been like, actually, I kind of suck at this. Like, that's just how the market does that. So I would try to just look at each trade kind of in a vacuum. And if you made positive gains on it, just gear up for the next one, because there's always going to be more.
And I don't, try to be in the business of trying to jump into everything either.
Me either.
I'll take a position that's in that space where things are going, and I'll be happy in that space. You have SMDK on the screen in the semiconductor space. I don't own that one, but I do own AMD and Broadcom and a few others, and they're doing fantastic. So it doesn't bother me that some of these other ones are going, because the ones that I want to be in are going.
Yeah. And again, if you had a thesis for that, then your thesis is paying out. Market is bouncing here, by the way. S&P futures did recapture the VWAP. The SPY is continuing to trade up here. It looks like 735 is coming here. AppLovin also bouncing with the market. So I just saw this on the scanner for the first time here today. This had a wild after hours after it reported earnings, but it does look like it kind of held this area. Yeah, it held 445 from yesterday.
Yeah, AGL, it sold after hitting that 52 area. It came down to the VWAP and it said, we're not done. And now it's printing new highs. 53.62 now is the high. This is trying to chew into that whole consolidation area I pointed out earlier.
FLNC gearing up for a possible VWAP test here.
I don't like the way that price action in the regular session looks.
For FLNC?
Yeah, if we can't get above VWAP, I think there's going to be a rejection coming there, and that could send us through the 200 EMA.
Yeah, and I mean, if you think about this, the initial move was a pop above the after-hours highs. That was immediately sold, and now it's starting to grind back. To your point, this might be a resistance area. You'd want to see that clear first.
Yep, that's it. Rackspace running into resistance from the pre-market highs. We did get a little bit higher at 428, but not a whole lot higher. It's still the same area that we of the highs that we hit just before we opened. Rackspace may come down a little bit here under 4.
Canarp saying some of the people I know own a percentage of major tech companies for a long time. Me too. We got a private equity buddy that joins our happy hour all the time. He will sometimes buy 2 and 3% of an entire company. And it's just, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. Those long-term conviction holds. That's where the real wealth is made.
I liked that we hit 400 in Google this morning, but this thing needs to cool off. I would want to see this come in closer to 380. We're at an 82 RSI on the daily. This is just really overdone. I want this to go higher, but I don't want to see a big, cratering move to the downside on when in the days when the market's weak. So I would love to see this cool off a little bit here. 380 would be a decent spot. It may even come down underneath that though as well.
I would love 350 to be quite honest with you. That would fill this gap. Yeah,
that might actually be what happens, but we'll see. This might hold 380, but we'll see. Either way, I think it needs to cool off. All right, what's looking good right now?
So interestingly enough, I'm looking at ARM here. This pulled back. This may be on the hardware software rotation that you guys were talking about earlier. ARM so far done an all right job holding its pre-market lows, but it just has not shown strength. Selena mentioning Paul Tudor Jones. I saw that he gave an interview this morning on CNBC. Selena, was that any good? I mean, I would imagine they all are. He's phenomenal. But I didn't catch any of it, obviously, running the show here. And then several of you folks mentioning Micron, possible red-green. Micron has gone red to green now. Look at this.
Dead AI is a proud owner of NVIDIA. Okay. I'm going to look at MU real quick because, a while back I called this one the next NVIDIA. And, man, so far so good, but this thing should see some cooling off again. We did have a nice run from September into the new year, and then we kind of consolidated a bit and broadened out and then broke out of that broadening formation to go higher. Where this goes next, I can't say. I mean, let's see if it climbs to 800. Why not? Let's see if it can get up there. I don't know that it will, but let's see if it can. Joe throwing all kinds of things out. All right, let's see. Let's look at these movers again here. So Rackspace did dip underneath 4. It's getting some support from the 9 EMA, trying to recapture that $4 level again. ATRA, that was a interesting little reversal candle we had in that last 5-minute candle. Let's see if it can get back above some of these moving averages and retest that VWAP. FLNC, what's our good?
I was just going to say NVIDIA might be going for its all-time high here. So NVIDIA actually having a pretty strong move intraday here. That high 216.83. We're only almost 4 points away, a little less than 4 points away from that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just realized
a lot of call sweeps too.
I just realized something about PGY. That was the one we talked about with the cup with handle, right? That was like the clear as day cup with handle, and we did get a break above that. But we got rejection at the 500. But still, that was one of the things we talked about yesterday, is that this had a very standout cup with handle formation at the bottom.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Here it is. So here's your cup. Here's your handle. And then, boom, break above the top of the cup. You're exactly right, 13.
That was something we looked at yesterday. I'm glad that whoever was asking about this is doing well. Clearly, if you were buying in the cup anywhere, that's at your higher now. But let's, I don't know what your plan is for this. Would love to see a recapture that 500. That looks like that's the next big resistance area. Support going to be down, in my opinion. We're going to want to see support kicking at about 1550 for PGY. NVIDIA
calls are still going off here. So for any of you that are trading NVIDIA here today, this was the right day for that. Here's NVIDIA's intraday chart. This little dip right out of the open, if you can even call it that, basically 207, big time move here, 6-point reversal.
Retro, I think I like 60.
The Palantir?
In O. Palantir, I've already maintained. I think that comes down to 90. I don't know.
I just read his last comment and saw Palantir.
Yeah, but I think this still comes in some more. It looks like there could be some support around 62. I think that we go lower. I would look at 60. And yeah, I know it's hard to keep going parabolic line. You're referring to Micron. I'm not suggesting that this is just going to keep going. I think eventually we'll see 800, but we're going to get a lot of back and forth like we were earlier this year. videos and
FLNC, by the way, rejected at the VWAP, just like we warned about. 13 could not get back above that.
Yeah, that was looking like a bit of a bear flag. If this resolves the way it's supposed to, we're going to see a test of that 200 EMA on the 5-minute.
CW Parker, good to see you this morning. IREN, that was a good mention. How's IREN doing? Oh my God, that's 60s now.
Getting a little bit more of a lift here in ATRA. Would like to see this test that VWAP again. Maybe even break through the trend line this time.
IREN resistance right here.
AGL, the high is 54.88. But man, this thing is really spready. Looking at like almost $1 spread at some points here. I think I'd be very careful with AGL up here. This has been it's been on a great run this morning, but it's starting to look like it might slow down, and it's in that consolidation. So there could be some selling pressure. Don't let me tell you what to do with this one. You trade it how you're going to trade it, but I think we got. I consider this to be getting more than we were looking for here. So let's keep that in mind.
Seeing some more Voyager 50 calls get bought here.
That had some news recently, I believe. And here we go with ATRA coming up to that trend line and the VWAP. Let's go, buddy. Hey, it's been a fun morning. It's been a fun week.
It actually has. It actually has.
Okay, cool, Joe. That seems like a pretty good plan. AMPX actually had a good report, waiting for 15 to begin dollar cost averaging, and AGL continues to push higher, 55.12 now. I don't want to touch this thing up here. If I had this, I'd probably be trimming or selling. That's just me. It looks like this is going to eventually go higher over the longer term. So if that's a long-term horizon you have for this, then don't listen to what I'm saying. But if you're only day trading this, I don't know how much more you're going to get.
Intel trying to snap 114.
Looks like FLNC isn't finished yet. Wants to take another shot at the VWAP.
Bring that up here. FLNC. That needs to go through the VWAP to get excited about that.
Yeah, I don't have any answers for AGL. It just continues to climb, and I would not want to touch this thing. I don't like the spread. I don't like how extended it is on this low. The volume's starting to get lower and lower. I get the sense that at some point we're going to see some pull here. But like I said, don't let me dictate how you're going to trade this, because it's already been beyond my my resistance levels. Oh, did we mention BBAI?
Not today. That was a discussion, I think, yesterday or on Happy Hour.
Yeah, BBAI looking a little interesting here. I would love for this to have a big move past 440, because I think this looks like it's trying to reverse. We just had a silver cross earlier this month, a few days ago. So I would like to see this climb beyond 480.
Joseph says, I'm feeling so dumb, missing many entries recently and sitting on capital that could be making me more, lacking the time to watch charts. So, I would say if you're lacking anything that takes you away from your process, you're actually probably better off not being active, because that's when mistakes are made. So try and look at that as the glass half full. I'm sure when you get some more time, you'll be able to focus a little bit more on that. But I mean, like missing entries, that's part of it. Like I missed ARM this morning. I literally had an order sitting out there. And it would have been 8-9 points. Just how it goes. Sometimes you miss them.
And that's another fear that should be pointed out: the fear of that you're getting FOMO. You don't want to miss out on some of these moves. That's not a good reason to jump into these. So I think that exercising the discipline that you are, is a good sign that you're going to do just fine. This isn't the time to chase. If you're waiting for some good entries, then stick to your plan. Stick to what you know is going to work. Wait for those cheaper entry levels, those discounts, and you'll do much better there. But I wouldn't worry about missing out on some of these because they are getting pretty extended. I think your exercise is good discipline.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. I don't think there's a reason to be mad at yourself. Real quick here, FLNC. This is on the VWAP right now. 1787 is what I've got it as in my broker. We are testing that right now.
We'll see if we get through it or if we get rejected here. ATRA still climbing a little bit higher, trying to get back up to that VWAP.
Dr. Manred mentioning that silver and gold have been working the last couple of days. Silver actually looks like this was flashing a breakout here, wasn't it, earlier? SLV?
I saw silver was up pretty good this morning. Thoughts on DGXX? It's one of the ones we were trading, I believe, earlier this week, if not last week. I think it was earlier this week, though.
Yeah, it was earlier this week. I think it was Monday.
Yeah, and well, this had a pretty good week. Continued to climb higher over the next couple of days after we looked at this. But today we didn't climb higher. Today we're inside the real body of yesterday's candle. And looks like from last October, this had a high of 678. So that could be about the area where you find some resistance, if not right where we're at now. Although you could draw a trend line that indicates this may end up going higher. I don't know. With this inside candle, I would want to see this recapture the yesterday's closing price. I think that if we do that, that might bode well for some more upside. But this thing has been on quite a run. It's pretty extended. I think we could see this continue to cool off. That might mean this goes, down to around 550.
Judge, take care of yourself. Selena says there will be a correction as gaps need to be filled. I kind of feel the same way, Selena. And I feel like the more that we respond to what we see on the chart, the better off our entries are going to be. FLNC testing its VWAP again here.
Take care, Judge. Let's take a look and see what else is going here.
FLNC rejected at that VWAP, no?
One that we traded earlier this week, AHMA, having a good day, up 12%, went up as high as 190. It's coming back in, cooling off this this past 10 or 15 minutes. But if it can hold above this 175, it might be able to go higher. What else is looking good here? FLNC struggling with that VWAP right now.
Yeah, it sure is.
AGL hit 55.50. Hasn't climbed higher than that yet. Really starting to slow down here. Wondering if we might finally get to see this come back in. Took a photo loss in FLNC. Oh, sorry to hear that. Was that? Was that when after we opened, like right after we opened, and it just sank?
Who said that? What?
I was just asking Retro. He took a $4 loss in FLNC. I want to start trading. I'm 28 and don't understand.
All right. So a couple of things that you can do right there. Number one, you can open up a account that allows paper trading, which will allow you to kind of practice some of the mechanics, and that will cost you nothing. Mm-hmm. The other thing that you can do is you can really find some good help material, and good help material exists on YouTube, but there's plenty of other places too where you can find that. I would say at the same time you're kind of going through some of the help material, practice execution on the paper platform so that you feel ready when it's time to actually use money. I know for beginners, one of the big things is, well, I don't have a lot of money and I can't afford to lose it early because then I'm just going to be even more behind. So if that's the case for you, practice first. And there are a lot of companies that allow paper trading for you to kind of practice that.
and we don't want to overwhelm you with anything all at
Yeah.
once right now. So it's gonna take a little bit of time to get used to terminologies and the way things work in the market. One thing that could really do yourself a huge favor is understanding the different types of orders and spreads and the risks. I would start there, just very simply just how order entry works. That's tends to be a good start, and that's something you're going to have to utilize anyway when you do your paper trading. So
FLNC went through the VWAP and through 18, by the way.
All right, so no chill there. Let's see if it can recapture some of those pre-market levels. But that's where I would start with what Ryan said. Start with paper trading and learning the different types of order entries. What's the sites and tools to get this info?
I got a good one is Investopedia. Let me actually link that here. This is, I know this is a really good thing, especially for new users to kind of learn some of these terminologies. That way, if you're watching other traders, or if you're kind of like learning from other people, or if you're reading other help material online, at least this gives you a trustable resource where you can look things up. So if you don't know what a debit spread is, for example, Investopedia, free resource. Again, my goal here would be for you not to spend too much money up front. Try to do what you can for either low cost or no cost early, and then supplement what you need as you're going through it. This is not an easy job, and I know we like to have fun here, but don't let anyone get it twisted here. It's not easy. It takes practice, it takes discipline, and it is something that all of us constantly work at every single day. Just passing through, great comment. Schwab has really good educational videos on YouTube. I believe they also have them in the platform too, if you opt to go to Thinkorswim. JD says, Investopedia rocks. Yo, I still use that almost every day to look something up that I don't understand.
Oh, I love seeing this. Cameron is saying, Axon is looking nice. I love it. This thing's up almost 10%. We talked about this yesterday. This was we talked about how Department of Homeland Security was getting funded. Geo, that prison stock, that ended up having great earnings. They got new contracts off of DHS. That was up. Here we are with Axon. This is the other one we were looking at that was expected to receive DHS funding. They did get new contracts. Didn't really do a whole lot with their earnings, but here we are with a brand new day, and this climbing higher back over 400.
And this actually intraday here looks like it's trying to push higher as well. So this actually looks strong intraday, in addition to being up 10%.
Fantastic.
Yeah, this was really good.
Speaking of really good, AGL just isn't stopping. 56.94 right now. So, like I said, don't listen to me on this one anymore. This is going beyond my levels of resistance. I don't know where the turnaround is going to be, but we are still in that consolidated area. Thank you.
There we go. Dude is a savant. My boy's wicked smart. And the other thing, really quickly, 13 is a very humble guy, so doesn't often say this, but here's the reality. 13, you guys don't need, anyone can do this. I am a firm believer that literally anybody can do this job. 13, I've watched him just kind of progress from when I met him all the way back during COVID. Like, this is something anyone can learn these things. 13 is no different. Research, dedication, and actually putting in the time is what made him into who he is today.
And yeah, it's right, Jay. Axon is also software, and it's in the software in the sense that they have that evidence cloud that they use for storing all of their digital recordings from their body cams. An ETF. I've thought about that. It's I don't know exactly what I would put in it right now, but it's something I thought about. Hematos is mentioning, so we were talking about Sony and Nintendo because I think wasn't it Tim Melvin talking about Japan and how he's bullish on that. I like Nintendo. I've always liked it. It's a childhood company for me. But it's and I've been starting to buy it too, because I think it's been pretty heavily discounted off the highs, and the dividend is starting to look a lot more attractive here. I intend to add more. I think they've got a lot of great things coming up. Just yesterday, they announced that they're going to be releasing a remake of the Star Fox 64 video game, and it looks awesome. No. It looks awesome. So if you're a big nerd like me, go watch that Nintendo Direct Star Fox 64 remake. It looks pretty cool.
Josh, is anyone holding Ondas into earnings? Yes, I am. But again, this is the trailer position for me. So it's easy for me to do that given all of the really good performance that we've had on Ondas. But yes, long-term hold, I will be holding through earnings.
I do, Master. I do have a switch too. I have a funny story about that. My son and I, we had to track one down when they came out in order to get one because they were flying off the shelves. I like this comment here by Joe. Cop busted me and my friends in high school, and we saw what was an evidence cloud in our car.
Yeah, evidence clouds will get you every time. All right, 13, we are out of time here today. Any closing words for the group?
Man, I was having so much fun. But, it's always going to have to be this way. The fun does have to end sometimes. But you know what? Tomorrow's a brand new day, the last day of the week. We'll have some good times then. So, folks, congratulations on all your trades today. Did a great job on a lot of these names. I've been really happy to see everybody making so much money, and welcome all the newcomers looking to learn with us as well. Glad to have you here, folks. I'll see you tomorrow. It's going to be a great rest of the week, and looking forward to the weekend. So have a good Thursday. See you Friday. Goodbye.
All right. Really good stuff here, 13. We look forward to closing the week out strong tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Now, folks, we are signing off here for the day, but don't forget, and the gentleman asking about learning to trade, you might want to stick around from this webinar. I know they're options, not stock, but this is going to be pretty good. Quick heads up, right after this, we're going live with CBOE's Stacy Gilbert from the Options Institute for Fast Greeks Smart Spreads, managing your risk from leaps to zero DTEs. It starts at 11 a.m. Eastern. It is totally free. Whether you're trading zero DTEs or holding leaps, Stacy is breaking down how time to expiration shapes your risks and how spreads can help you define it. Link is in the chat. The QR code is on the screen. That starts in less than a half an hour. Be sure to check it out. Otherwise, have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll be back here again tomorrow. You can expect Mark Petrino and Anne-Marie Ban in addition to myself and 13. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused. Have a great one. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody.